The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets could be facing a fascinating dilemma when they are on the clock at pick number 7. We'll talk about that dilemma and much more. Cole Thompson will join us for another mock draft of champions. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go here on a Wednesday. Hit the like button and please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That is the best way to have a chance to get a channel membership gifted to you, like Stack gifting a membership before the show even began. So he's in our next ASMANIAC raffle for one. Before we bring on Cole, I just want to address what happened at the tail end of the second show today. So Big Fella did advance to the Elite Eight, defeating Charles Gorman. But the serious thing that happened with Charles involving a fake internet woman who was clearly scanning him for money, obviously, that was a very serious situation. I thought at first maybe it was an April Fool's joke, but it ended up being a real thing. I could tell you this, it is being handled. Charles' dad was made aware. Huge shout out to Nick Shine and to Purple Belt Mike for working with the Gormans and with Charles to rectify the situation. These scammers had all of Charles's information, social security, bank account info. So this was a very serious thing that happened. I've spoken with Charles today. He's in much better spirits. Everyone on the Discord has been super encouraging and looking after him. So I just wanted to update people who have been asking me on that. I received so many messages after the show. So again, thank you to Purple Belt Mike, who, without giving away what he does for a living, is all over this and has been super helpful for Charles and his family. So with that said, Big Fella did win fair and square. So congrats to him. He's advancing to the regional final. So I will set the stage right now for this matchup that we have coming up in the Sweet 16 today. On this show, it's One Punch Dave Briga, the 15 seed, King Loski, the number 3 seed. I'm wearing my Loski bucket hat and I got my boxing glove ready to go for One Punch Dave Briga. So it is going to be a battle of two of the greats today in ASMANIAC Madness. Polls will open up in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's say hello to our weekly guest, our good friend, Cole Thompson, who is an expert when it comes to the NFL draft, and we'll talk all things Jets with us here on the program. Cole, happy Wednesday, my man. Happy April 2nd.
Yeah, whatever. It is whatever. I'm sad today. I'm very sad today. I've already seen it in the comments section. RIP to Val Kilmer. For anybody who knows me or anybody who knows anything about me, one of my favorite movies of all time is Tombstone. I quote that probably once a day. I absolutely love his character still to this moment. The most underappreciated role he has ever had. And more importantly, the biggest snub in Oscars history. Congratulations to the Bat Fella. Moving on yesterday. Big performance. Loved it big. And also, the thing that I really appreciate about ever coming on this show, Jake has built such a great community to where everyone is helping out each other. Charles Gorman, you know I love you, buddy. You know how much I care about you. I'm glad that Purple Belt Mike and everybody else was able to kind of help you out in this situation. And this is why we do what we do, is for the community right here. I absolutely love it.
Absolutely. So again, thanks to everyone who reached out. And I can tell you, Charles is in good hands with the people behind the scenes who are helping him, especially once again, shout out to Purple Belt Mike. Nate, your super chat here, spot on. PBM stepped up big time live, on air, and off air. Shout out to Aced Up in the ASMANIAC raffle for 5. Rise and grind. We will get you in there. Aced Up. Let me just run through the prizes again for those of you tuning in maybe for the first time this week, giving away a signed Joe Namath helmet, old school looking helmet, a signed Don Maynard helmet, a signed Weeb Eubank helmet, the head coach of the Super Bowl champion Jets, and a replica Joe Namath Super Bowl III ring. I got a couple other prizes in store as well. So if we hit a bunch of memberships over the course of this show and the next show, those will be announced as we get closer to our next ASMANIAC raffle. All right, Cole, I want to start with some comments from Aaron Glenn this week. You've been a big fan of Justin Fields. You've been someone that thinks he could be a competent NFL starting quarterback. Aaron Glenn came out and really endorsed the idea of Fields finding a home with the Jets, saying multiple times in various interviews they're going to let him play quarterback. And he even used the term breakout as an expectation he could see now for Justin Fields. Is it just coach talk, or do you think the Jets truly think they found the next Darnold or the next Baker Mayfield type of reclamation project?
I won't say that it's coach talk. I also won't say that they are thinking it's going to be the next reclamation project. I think it's somewhere in the middle where you're getting a good game manager that can elevate the offense from what you had last year and build a rapport with what you currently have on the staff. Like, we've seen Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson connect during their time at Ohio State. If we get that continuity out in the MetLife Stadium this year, it's a massive win, because if you've already seen what Garrett Wilson can do with an adequate quarterback play, now he's getting the guy that helped him transform into who he is now in the NFL back when he was in Columbus. That's a dude that I think that when you look at that relationship, it can only grow. It allows you to have that extra punch on the ground with the mobility aspect of things. Because if he is somebody that does have the legs and is not afraid to go ahead and tuck and run and pick up those extra yards, he's gotten over 1,000 rushing yards in the season. And when you have questions at the wide receiver position and at the overall arsenal and your weaponry and what your cast of characters is going to look like, you got to be able to have that second trait. And I think that Justin Fields has that. And you look at where this offense is, where this offense can go, and what this offense can be, especially if you bring in the right tight end, whether that be in pick 42, whether that be a pick number 7. We know that Fields loves to utilize the tight end position. Did so with Cole Kmet when he was in Chicago. Did so with Pat Freiermuth last year. So it's one of those things where I think that when you look currently at just what Justin Fields is, number one, he's better than any quarterback that is currently on the market or any quarterback that is in this year's draft. So you already are an upgrade from what you're going to bring in terms of anybody that is going to be a part of the roster coming in April or May. Number two, it's a year to where you don't know what the expectations truly are. If you make the playoffs and Justin Fields ends up taking a massive step forward, that's a major win. That's a win for the organization. You're able to kind of figure out, hey, we got a dude that we believe is going to be a foundation for us moving forward, and we're willing to pay him pretty decent money because you want to know why? We're only paying him $40 million right now. That's a very good deal. And if it ends up being a terrible situation to where he doesn't take that next step forward, and the Jets are somewhat still finishing 6-11, 7-10, 5-12, you're talking about still being in a good position to where you have a guy that's under contract. You can let go of him if you want to, or bring him back and bring in better quarterback competition next year, whether that be Nico Iamaleava out of Tennessee, or Lenore Sellers if he has a breakout year in year 2 at South Carolina, Sam Levitt when he's at Arizona State, if Carson Beck lives up to expectations, whoever it is, it doesn't pigeonhole you into holding out hope that Justin Fields is the guy. But in a draft class where there is not a single dude that I believe is better than Justin Fields, you might as well just run it out with him and build around him for a season. Because if it ends up working out, congratulations, you're in a really good spot. If it doesn't end up working out, guess what the best part is, Jake? You get to hit reset next year, and you're going to have players and personnel and really good overall upside with the rest of your arsenal for the next quarterback to have success.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Cole Thompson. We'll do a mock draft live on the show, as we always do once a week leading up to the draft. I do want to plug the draft party. Folks, get your tickets before we sell out. To do so, it's super easy. It will take you 3 minutes, not even. All you need to do is click in the description for the video you're watching right now and put in your name, your email, how many tickets you want, and boom, you're good to go. General admission tickets are $30. It includes a complimentary drink and an entry into the ASMANIAC raffle. We'll be live at Clinton Hall doing the show and hanging out with a bunch of passionate ASMANIACs for the entire first round on April 24th, which is fast approaching later this month. So I'm going to play you part of Aaron Glenn's answer in a one-on-one interview he did with the Jets TV home, SNY, listen to what he's saying about Fields actually getting a chance to play the quarterback. I think without saying it, Aaron Glenn's basically saying they don't think Justin Fields has ever been properly coached. Now, I don't know if the Jets are the team to properly coach him, but that's what Aaron Glenn, I think, is saying here. I want your thoughts on these comments.
Listen, I've played against Justin quite a bit, just him being at the Bears and me being in Detroit, and he created some damage for us, so I want to make sure that I can take advantage of what he does, what he can do as far as utilizing his legs, but I also want to allow him to play quarterback also. I don't know in his career he's ever had a chance to truly go out there and play quarterback, so we're going to give him that opportunity, understanding who he is as a player, try to utilize his skill set, but also let him do what he did at Ohio State, and let him go play quarterback.
What was the conversation like with Justin Fields? How excited is he to be here?
I think he's very excited. I mean, I talk to him every day. Listen, he's giving his opinion on things that he feel like he want to bring to the offense, which is great. And I think that us letting him play quarterback, he feels open to be able to do that. And that's one thing that you want. That head coach-quarterback relationship has got to be on the top level, and then we're trying to create that.
What do you make of those comments, Cole? Because once again, it sounds to me like, without trying to throw the Steelers or what happened in Chicago under the bus, those coaches, that they truly think that he hasn't been utilized the way that he could be utilized to be a good quarterback in the league.
Okay, here's my only problem. And I don't disagree. There were so many times when you look back at the way that they were trying to scheme up Justin Fields, how to play quarterback, it didn't work. It didn't work in Pittsburgh, and it didn't work in Chicago. Look at Pittsburgh's arsenal last season on what you have with tight end play, with the consistent run game, and what you have with George Pickens. Do you feel like that the personnel is going to be better, the same, anywhere worse than what it was last season out in New York this year? I'm asking you.
No, I mean, right now, the personnel, I think, is worse. The offensive line might be a little better.
That's what I'm saying.
The personnel overall is worse.
So that's my big question, is that you want him to be able to play quarterback. He's going to be able to, I think, upgrade part of the offense. I think that he's going to add that trajectory when it comes to his mobility aspect. But the big thing that hindered his success when he was in Chicago, they didn't have a quality number 2 wide receiver most of his career. They didn't have a good quality number 2 wide receiver when he was in Pittsburgh. They had to work with just the tight ends. So I'm looking at where you are currently in this offense, and I get it. You have Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and him, I think, are going to build a rapport that is going to make Wilson one of the highest paid wide receivers, because he's going to prove why that he is one of the biggest risers in the industry this upcoming year, more so than he already is. But what's your second punch right now? Is it going to be Alan Lazard? Is it going to be a third-round pick? Is it Malachi Corley? And so, that's where my frustration is that, yeah, I do absolutely love what you have in Justin Fields. I think that his underutilization of his mobility and them not allowing him to kind of tuck and run and asking him to play a certain brand of quarterback that we know didn't work for him when it was in Chicago and Pittsburgh, maybe won't be there anymore. But you need to have more than just one dude that you can trust in your offensive weaponry if you're going to see him take that next step forward. Chicago hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of the NFL. So we know it's not just a Justin Fields problem, but maybe if you brought in better wide receivers, you brought in more consistent playmakers, he would have taken that step forward. But do you feel like the Jets, where Chicago was 2 years ago, is anywhere in that same vicinity? Yeah, better wide receiver 1. I got questions at tight end. I got questions at wide receiver 2. What if your offensive line isn't able to open up those running lanes for Breece Hall, and now you're trusting him to be your lead runner? It's little things like that that could absolutely hinder Justin Fields' success. So I want to see him play. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because if I still look at all the intangibles, I look at his overall athleticism, I look at all the things that make him a positive player in that small sample size during his tenure when he was in Chicago, when he was in Pittsburgh. And I want to believe that that's going to be the version that we get in New York. But I also know it's more than just one person. You have to be able to have more than just Garrett Wilson in the offensive personnel.
Well, that's why I think, based on how they've operated this offseason, I mean, they're asking a lot. They need to now come away from this draft, I think, with 2 weapons, one at tight end and one at wide receiver, because that's how the depth chart is set up. I mean, they signed Josh Reynolds, they signed Tyler Johnson, but neither of those guys you look at.
Those are training camp guys right now.
That's what I'm saying. You have one legitimate wide receiver on your team, and yeah, he's a star. He's Garrett Wilson. He's great, but you don't have any real tight end right now. Jeremy Ruckert is fighting for his job in all likelihood this summer. Maybe he gets a boost playing with his old college quarterback, but you can't bank on that. You signed Stone Smart from the Chargers. There's maybe some upside there, but you can't bank on that. So that kind of sets the stage now for the big debate at 7. Could it be Warren? Could it be, Tet McMillan or Matthew Golden if they fall in love with a receiver? And then obviously the debate is going to be, hey, do they just take the best offensive tackle there, whether it's Armin Membu, or I think we got to start talking about Calvin Banks being a real possibility, because what if New England views Will Campbell as a guard and all of a sudden they take Membu at 4? If the Giants don't take Sanders at 3, and we expect this draft now to go Cam Ward and some sort of combination of Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter at pick 4, what if New England's like, we think Membu's the best tackle there. We're going to take him, put him at left tackle. We think he can make the transition. We got him and Morgan Moses now for Drake May. And then all of a sudden, the Jets could be there on the clock. Maybe it's Warren, maybe it's Graham, or maybe, hey, Kelvin Banks is our next highest rated offensive lineman. We think he's a top 10 player. We'll take him at 7. I think all these different scenarios are in play, and that's the dilemma I think they're going to face maybe at 7 if it goes Cam Ward and then Carter, Hunter, 2, 3, whatever order, and then New England takes Membu at 4, let's say.
Okay, so are you all out on Will Campbell right now if he was there at 7?
I'm not out on him. I mean, if they think he could play, tackle for them, I think you could take him. If you're drafting and be a guard, that would make no sense because you already have 2 good guards. You don't take a guard in the top 7. I don't care how good Campbell might be at guard.
That's my thing, is that I think Campbell's a guard. And that's not an insult to Campbell. I think Campbell is probably the most complete offensive lineman in this year's draft.
Why is he a guard, though? Just because of his arm length?
Yeah, that's my thing. I think he's just I think he's got a better lower center of gravity that will help him win in the run blocking inside. That's my thing, is I just think that his body frame overall fits better as a guard than it does as a tackle. Membo and Banks, I don't see the world where they're shifting inside for more than a year at guard. They are tackles. I don't question what they are. I think that when you look at Armand Membu, he is a right tackle. Let him be a right tackle. When I look at Kelvin Banks, he's a left tackle. Let him be a left tackle. So, that's where I'm at with it. But let's talk about Banks for a minute. Banks, to me, is one of these guys that I think is probably going to take a few years to get up to full speed, which maybe is not that big of a problem for the Jets. But he was a 3-year starter at left tackle during his time when he was at Texas. Really good. He won the Outland Award. He won the Lombardi Award. That was the best offensive lineman in college football last year. The thing that they were saying is that while he had really good games, and he had really good games against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner when UT played against Alabama, he had some really inconsistent games against lesser tier competition. And his handwork was a little bit sluggish, and his footwork was a little bit too broad. His back step would sometimes allow him to lose his one-on-one battles. So it's those little things that could end up hurting him. And I think that's maybe where we have to have that conversation. If you want to have Calvin Banks, I'm totally fine with it. At 10, it feels like a little bit of a reach. I would rather take Tyler Warren. I would rather wait and hopefully see an Irisy fall from Minnesota and pick number 42 and get myself a guy that I have a little bit more faith in, or trade back up in round 1 and get myself a Josh Simmons, who has 2 years of starting experience at Ohio State at right tackle before he shipped on over to the left side. So it's little things like that I think that maybe you could see the Jets do. But at 7, it feels like Membu. I was talking to a buddy of mine that works at Missouri, and he said, if you go back and watch every single one of his games, there is not a single pass rusher that was able to beat him. Kyle Kennard at South Carolina couldn't beat him. Dylan Stewart at South Carolina couldn't beat him. You look at the Alabama game, none of Alabama's LT Overton couldn't get past him. He was the most complete, overall balanced offensive tackle in the class, and arguably the most balanced offensive tackle in the SEC last year. So it's if I know I have a hole at right tackle and he's available, I want him. Now, if he's not there, now we have a serious conversation. Can you trade back and still be in line for Calvin Banks? Or do you just stay at number 7 and take Tyler Warren?
Yeah, that's to me the situation that they could find themselves in. Because also, everyone's oh, you got to take the tackle. You got to take the tackle. I'm sorry. I look at this tackle class, and I think they could get a starting tackle in the 2nd round if they took Warren at 7.
Humor me.
I think they could take Ursary from Minnesota. I know Dom C likes Anthony Belton and thinks he could be someone that could start right away. The tackle.
I think Belton's a guard. That's my thing. I just don't see him as a tackle. I think he's going to shift inside permanently from NC State, right?
I mean, is Josh Connerly going to be there in the second round? Because I
I
can
don't
tell
think
you,
so.
well,
That's my thing.
I think they could get someone that could start. Ozzie Trapillo, I think, could start at right tackle. I think there's someone that is going to be there for them, which is why I don't think it just, well, you got to build the trend. Like the idea that you can't still add to your offensive line and quote unquote build through the trenches by using pick 42 on a tackle is nonsensical to me. That's still a high pick. That's still a top 45 pick on a position of need that is not as premium as the first round pick you invested at pick 11 last year to get your left tackle. If they needed a left tackle, it's a different conversation. They need a right tackle. They need a weapon more. We're talking about Justin Fields breaking out. That's what the head coach is talking about. How's he doing that, throwing a one guy right now in Garrett Wilson?
Okay, so here's my counter argument. If Armand Membo's there, I'm taking him because I think that he is the best right tackle in this year's class. And it's a plug
over Tyler Warren. You would take Membo?
Yes, at 7. Now, in a trade back scenario where I can get an extra third round pick, I can listen to that. I'm okay with having that conversation. Tyler Warren or Calvin Banks or Tyler Warren or a Tet McMillan. I'm willing to have that conversation. But I look at this tight end group, and if you look at Field Yates' mock draft this morning, he has Armand Membu coming off the board at pick number 7, and at pick 42, you go get Mason Taylor. I think Mason Taylor is a extremely talented tight end that fits the style of offense that Tanner Enstring wants to run. I think Gunnar Helm fits
and
that
his
priority.
aunt is Joy Taylor.
What? Yeah, and is somehow related to that peanut butter skin Joy Taylor. So we're all great on that one. But no, I mean, like I look at that and I say I can get him in round 2 and feel so much better about my offensive line and bringing in a guy that I believe is going to be a quality tight end in my second round pick and still land a wide receiver number 2 or a wide receiver number 3 in the third round than I feel about drafting an Irisy that I think is going to come on in and be that dude immediately and have no question marks. Now, I will bring this up to you, Jake. Let's say that there is a fall of offensive linemen. We'll go, I don't know. You go take Tyler Warren. Let's say we go your way. You go with Tyler Warren at pick number 7, and then you move on down. And let's say Josh Simmons from Ohio State, coming off the patella injury, is there at pick number 31. Are you willing to trade up from 42 to go get him and land yourself a right tackle and a guy that's played right tackle for years?
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Ricky NY writes in, Jake, 5 memberships to bring me on with Cole. Ricky, if you give 5 memberships, you will be the first non-Dave Briga or King Loski caller if they choose to call in to make their case in ASMANIAC Madness. You got yourself a deal, and we'll add you to the raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky is a true man of his word. He just gifted 5 channel memberships.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
All right, these are from the great Ricky NY. Deshaun Whitaker, Texans fan. Ricky Cooch, Andrew Kemp, and Cody, all receiving memberships there from Ricky NY. All right, Cole, let's set the stage now for our second ever Sweet 16 matchup.
Let's do it.
The first ever ASMANIAC Madness tournament. Quick look at the bracket, give everyone an idea where we stand. Congratulations to the great big fella on advancing to the Sweet 16 inside our chicken soup region. The big fella is moving on, and that sets the stage now for a battle today between the number 3 seed, King Loski, the number 15 seed, the highest remaining seed in our great tournament, One Punch Dave Briga. You know how this works. The polls will open, and you vote to decide who advances to the regional final inside the chicken soup region. And quick reminder, this afternoon, Peter Castro, the 4 seed, will take on the 8 seed, We the People, in our second Sweet 16 matchup on the day. So with that said, let's hand things over to the voice of ASMANIAC Madness. To get us started, here is Jim Nance.
It's time for ASMANIAC Madness. Who will cut the nets down as the top ASMANIAC for 2025? Some of you don't even care, but we do. Let's get to it.
Vote, vote, vote for your chance to send One Punch Dave Briga or King Loski to the Elite 8. Cole, it's a tough one. Your thoughts on this matchup? Are you riding the hot hand with Dave Briga? Are you going with one of the most consistent and passionate OG Jet fans that's a part of this great community, King Loski?
Well, you can hear Paisley barking in the background because if she didn't start off with King Loski, so she's riding with King Loski. I'm really excited to see how this matchup goes. I think that Briga, the fact that he took out my dude that I thought was going to be in the national championship week 1 was awesome. So I think that he has a good shot. But I will say, you and I were talking about this. Those who have been around for the longest time on the Jake Asman football show, those who've been around on the Jake Asman show, those who understand this actual community, they're the ones advancing. And so I think that right now I'm riding with King Loski. I think that this is where Briga comes to an end. I'm excited to see what the King is going to provide. Long live the King. I think he has a shot to win it all at this point. I'm very excited to see what he's going to bring to this table today.
Here's the updated bracket. Oh, by the way, as you can see, big fella, the first ASMANIAC there to have a spot in the regional final. Big fella will take on the winner of this King Loski versus One Punch Day Briga showdown. All right, Cole. Before we get to a mock draft, I want to remind people to continue to submit any draft-related questions. Super Chats will cut the line, and the aforementioned big fella's got a question for you before we do a mock draft. Cole, why is Dylan Sampson getting no love? Also, where do you see Dante Thornton and Omar, Norman, Lott, and Cooper Mays, fan fave, going?
Okay, let's start out with Cooper Mays. He's going to be a day 3 pick. I don't think that that's a bad thing. If he goes to the right system, I think he could work out almost instantaneously. Omar, Norman, Lott is going to be a round 2 or early round 3 pick. Any single time that you can get a good defensive lineman that fits a certain mold, whether that be as a run stopper or as a third down pass rusher, that is what Norman Lott can be. He was great last year on one of the best defensive lines in college football. So I'm very excited to see what system he's in. I don't know about Dante Thornton, big fella. I don't. Like I'm genuinely trying to figure out. He's 6'5". He had some really bright moments last year. He also had some blundering moments. I mean, you remember this as well as I do, dude. Go back to that game against Georgia, and how many times were you watching Nico try to connect downfield, and everybody was dropping the ball, but twice on third down, Dante Thornton couldn't hold on, and it wasn't great coverage by Georgia. It was just bad drops. That's something that I think is going to carry on over. Dylan Sampson, the reason why I don't think he's getting a lot of love is simply because of this running back class. It's Ashton Genty, it's Omarion Hampton, and then it's kind of pick your poison. What do you want? I mean, like, we're not hearing enough about Travian Henderson and what he was able to provide for this Ohio State team. We barely hearing about Quinshon Junkins. We're finally starting to get a little bit more love when it comes to Jaden Blue out of Texas, or what we really like in the NC State kid, or what we kind of like in the North Carolina kid. So it's like, this is one of those drafts where you look at the running back room. I feel like that you're going to see very small movement on the first 2 days outside of like maybe Travian Henderson and maybe Quinshon Junkins. And then like day 3, 15 or 16 dudes just come off the board. Like Caleb Johnson, I think, is going to be in that running. I think Sampson's going to be in that running. I think that you're going to hear Cam Scatterbo be in that running. Like that's what we're going to see. Caleb Johnson's probably the one dude who I would throw into, I don't know, like late round 3, maybe mid round 3 at best. Like that's probably the last guy. But everyone else I'm looking at, it's just going to be a run on day 3 for running backs, because it's one of those drafts where nobody is standing out outside of Genty and Hampton in terms of those like game changers, but everyone has that niche role. And when I want a physical bruiser that can get that home run speed across the middle of the field, that's Dylan Sampson. I mean, he led the SEC in rushing yards, and more importantly, he was one of the best yards after contact guys in college football last year. So I want him on my team if I can get him.
Ralphie checks in with a $20 super chat. That puts Ralphie in the raffle for 5 with this one. If the Jets, thank you, King Loski, if the Jets draft Banks, does he stay at left tackle and they move Olu Fashion to right tackle? The best O-line I remember the Jets having was taking 2 offensive tackles, back-to-back drafts in the first round, Powell and Ward. I don't think they would move Olu. I think Olu is a better left tackle than Banks is. No, I think Banks would play right tackle.
Olu Fashanu would be the offensive tackle number 1 in this year's draft, far and away, for my opinion. Like I think Will Campbell is a pretty close offensive lineman number 1, but from an OT standpoint, it's Olu Fashanu. And the reason why is because of he is a left tackle. So you're moving Banks. Banks is going to go to the right side if you were to draft him at, say, 7 or in a trade back at like 12 or whatever it is. You would go put Banks on the right side, and hopefully it would end up working out. And if it doesn't, then you would have to find another way to make it work and then shift him inside to guard, which I don't think would be a good move at all. But you're moving Banks. You're not moving Olu at all. Olu is staying on the left side moving forward.
Eric Kelly with a super chat. Thank you, Eric. Wants to know your thoughts on Jaden Higgins and where you think he goes.
Second round. I would probably say late second round. Like, I could see a scenario where if Carolina want to get bigger at wide receiver to pair along with Adam Thielen, and then you have Xavier Legette, and then you have Jalen Coker, I could see them going after a 6 foot, 1,100 yard receiver that's got a good catch radius and a decent route tree. I can see them going after Jalen Noel too, but I think his size, I think the fact that he played such a consistent role for Iowa State's offense, that's something that is going to transcend to the next level as a quality low tier wide receiver 2, high tier wide receiver 3. And in this year's draft, that's what you're looking at for a lot of these dudes. So probably somewhere between 48 and 64 is where Jaden Higgins comes off the board.
He is Dom C's 4th rated receiver, has a second round grade on him, labels him a possession receiver. I like Higgins a lot because I think he's a great compliment to Garrett Wilson, right? I mean, Higgins is 6'4", 210 pounds. I think that's the type of receiver that would do well next to a guy like Garrett.
I don't know if I would take him at 42, but if there was a way to where you could get like something in return and move slightly back, yeah, I would take it. And like, if that's the best receiver available, I'm not going to argue with it. It's a very good complementary type receiver. That's the thing that I think is going to stand out about this game at the next level.
If you're watching live, hit the like button. Ladies and gentlemen, I have added another ASMANIAC raffle prize because I love this community. You already know about the Joe Namath helmet and the Don Maynard helmet and the Weave Eubank helmet. You guys ready for this? Prize number 4, a signed, and it comes with the frame and a certificate of authentication, Don Maynard photo. So, frame photo of the Jet legendary wide receiver. Super Bowl III is the raffle theme, so we still will obviously give away another replica Super Bowl III ring. So we got 5 prizes so far in this week's Super Bowl III ASMANIAC raffle. So more chances for you all to win another prize as we just added the signed Maynard photo to the raffle. And the first person to have a chance at that one, ladies and gentlemen, the Lump Man gifting 5. So he is in the ASMANIAC raffle for 5 more entries.
Show me the money. Show me the money! Money.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Deborah, 6'4", J8, Silent Bob, Jerry Moore, Sonny Crockett, Joe Bonesy. Shout out to the Bonesy brothers, all receiving channel memberships. And folks, the day Briga run is in danger of coming to an end by the great King Loski. Scoreboard update as polling is open in ASMANIAC Madness. It is all King Loski early on. Loski leading 67-33 over One Punch Dave Briga. I guess it depends on the term here. The lowest seed remaining or the highest seed remaining?
It's the highest seed remaining.
Yeah, highest seed remaining would be Briga. He's a 15 seed in the Sweet 16, so he's battling. But King Loski's tough to beat, and we're seeing that here. Jets Johnny is in the ASMANIAC raffle for 5, and Jets Johnny, your Kevin Mawai autograph helmet will finally be there in a couple of days. The original one, the seller finally got back to me, said, "I'm so sorry I never sent it out." Well, too late. Jets Johnny's getting a different one. And by the way, the one you're getting is even better. I think it says "Go Jets" on it. So there you go. Jets Johnny, you're in the raffle for 5. Thank you very much.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Here we go.
Let's go. Hang on real fast. I want to answer this question from Boomtown real fast. So
I need to get the names of the memberships. Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
This is important stuff here, Cole.
Sorry, I didn't realize it. It was so important.
James Caffiero. Is that my history teacher from Sasset High School? No way. No, I think his name is Rich Caffiero. Never mind.
Come on, you got to know his name.
NY Jets 8, Broadway Scott, Jet Fight Plan, and JK all receiving memberships. All right, go ahead, Cole.
All right, so question that was asked by Boomtown. I'd like to push back on that. If the Jets need a wide receiver and they deem the next best theory is at 42, no questions asked. Do you think the Chargers regret taking Ladd McConkey a tad early? No, I don't. And the reason why is because I had Ladd McConkey as a first-round pick. So I thought Ladd McConkey was a top 25 player in last year's draft. So getting him at pick number 35, it's not a reach, or it's not even a little bit of a reach, because I thought that that was significant value for a dude that probably should have been off the board at pick 28, pick 29. I liked him better than Xavier Worthy coming out. So I liked him better than Xavier Legette coming out. I liked him better than Ricky Pearsall coming out. So No, that's the difference. Do I like Jaden Higgins better than some of the guys like Trey Harris? Do I like Jaden Higgins better than Luther Burden? Do I like Jaden Higgins better than Matthew Golden or Emeka Ibuka or Kyle Williams for that matter? No, I don't. So that's the thing, is that it's all based off of preface. Like, yeah, if he's available and that's the best possession receiver that you can pair alongside with Malachi Corley as that gadget player and then Garrett Wilson as the Z spot, by all means do so. But for me personally, no. I think that 42 is a little bit too rich when you look at the other names that could be made available. And I think that if you were able to go ahead and land him later on in the draft by trading on up from 73, that's a better move, because if you still have the need at tight end, you still have the need at offensive tackle. And I think that if you can find yourself a quality tight end, like let's say you go with Tyler Warren, my mind is immediately shooting to offensive tackle at 42. So like that's where my brain goes when it comes to these type of conversations.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's in action this afternoon. The great Peter Castro just gifted not 1, not 3, not 7, but 10 channel membership.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, baby. Peter, by the way, you never told me if your signed Revis helmet that you won came in. I'm assuming it did because I sent that out a while ago, but let me know if you got it and it looks A-okay. Peter Castro gifting 10. He's in the raffle for 10 more. Mark Ferrero, T-Town Jet, It's Snoopy, The 3 Entertainment, Paolo from Sao Paulo, Elvin Joseph, Jason Del Monte, Jake, The Meadowland Swamp Thing, Alan Douche Nozzle, and TriStar Jet, all receiving channel memberships. Awesome job from Peter there. This one is from Fiore, and then we'll quickly run through a mock draft here, Cole. Fiore says Warren at 7, Ursary or Trapillo round 2. Feels like the Jets will devalue wide receiver until round 4 or 5. Look at Detroit offense. Run game, wide receiver 1. Tight end 1 gets most touches. Wide receiver 2 with Fields will be 4th in targets in passing game. That's one way to look at it. Your thoughts on this approach? I don't hate it.
I don't hate Warren at 7 and Irisy in round 2. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If I could get a trade back to 10 or 11 and still get Warren, that's the game plan. I'm going to continue to preach that until the cows come crying home. Like, I fully believe that you should not be going after a tight end inside the top 10, but if that's the best player available on their board, I'm not going to complain about that. And Irisy, if he can fall to you and pick him in round 3, I'd be fine with that. Trapillo, I think round 3 is where you go after him, not round 2. If you can get him in round 3, go get a wide receiver in round 2, because still, I'm one of these dudes that is buying into, I think that you, regardless, don't have that wide receiver 2 on your roster. And the whole thing about wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 get the most touches. Wide receiver 2 with Fields will be the 4th most in targets in the passing game. Like, so who's the third then option? Is it the running back? Is it going to be Breece Hall? Is it going to be tight end 2? Like, that's where I'm wondering about, what do you mean with that part? Because you still need a wide receiver 2. And even if he's 3rd in targets, what is 3rd? Are we talking about 55 catches for 720 yards and 6 touchdowns? Because I would take that. And I would definitely take that from a 2nd round pick and still land Trapillo in round 3. And I'd feel really good about my offense and the trajectory that's going in. Like, that's where I'm kind of at right now. He says Breece Hall. Okay, I mean, maybe, but still, then go get a wide receiver in round 3. Like, if you're going to go after an offensive lineman in round 2, then go get your wide receiver in round 3.
I don't know if we could assume Breece would be the 3rd biggest pass catcher on the Jets. Like, we have to hope that Tanner Engstrand could use Breece Hall the way I think he should be used. Like, I like the thought, Fiore, but they need a receiving help, man. Because I don't want to just look at this through like a 1-year thing. Like, chances are, like, I'm someone who doesn't think Justin Fields is going to be the long-term answer. I think he maybe could, but like, I think this team in all likelihood probably needs to go quarterback in round 1 in 2026. So if that's the case, like, let's put that young quarterback in a position here where they have more than just one legit wide receiver if you could hit on someone in this draft early.
Well, think about this, Jake, for a second. What if you're right and they do go quarterback in next year's draft with pick number 7 or pick number 11 or wherever the hell they're thinking? I look at it right now. Don't you want to have as many weapons as possible? And by the way, Breece Hall is going into a contract year. So why would you not want to have at least one more wide receiver on the roster that's going to elevate your team alongside with Garrett Wilson? So that's why I'm saying go round 2 wide receiver and tight end round 1, or go tight end round 2, wide receiver round 3, and offensive lineman round 1. That's totally fine with me. But I look right now, I'm not banking on, number 1, I agree with you, Justin Fields as the long-term answer. But I also do think that you need to be able to have at least a secondary option for your passing attack for a young quarterback next year. So regardless, you have to address the wide receiver need with one of your first 3 picks.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Appreciate all of you watching the show live. Let me get to the super chat here because it keeps coming in, and then I do want to rip through a mock. Maybe we don't do all 7 rounds. We'll just do the
We can do all 7. It'll be quick. Trust me.
Peter Castro, Tyler Warren all day, blocks, catches, and runs. So Castro on the Warren train. Big fella says, Cole, Nico better show he can hit the long pass because as of now, he isn't ready. More Matthews catches should help. This being the quarterback.
Well, they need
in Tennessee.
to get Mike Matthews more involved, big fella. They do. And I think that Braylon Staley in the slot's going to have a really good year. I actually was speaking to somebody out in Tennessee earlier this week. They really like their 2 young freshmen. So I think that the offense is going to be better. And remember this also, big fella. Look at what Hendon Hooker did from year 1 to year 2 in Josh Heupel's system. If that's the growth that you see in Nico, especially when you have 3 running backs versus just Dylan Sampson toting the rock, you're in a really good spot. And by the way, the schedule's so easy. Tennessee should be a playoff team next year. Like, it's a failed season in Knoxville if they don't make the playoffs with that schedule.
Comments, question, super chats will in fact cut the line. All right, Cole, you ready for
let's
mock madness? First, real quick, Bang Mateo, Braylon 3.2 yards per catch. Will not cut it with those fullback numbers. Bang, the entire rushing offense was a joke last year. We're expecting it to be way better with competent coaching and a real emphasis on how to actually design it. Go listen to my interview Super Bowl week with Brian Baldinger talking about how bad the Jets were at just simple blocks and stuff like that. I think it's going to be way better. Anyway, all right, here we go. I'm going to do a little screen share here on my end, Cole. Let's rip through a mock draft. We won't spend all day with the thought process here because we did a lot of just owners meeting reaction and talking about where things stand with the New York Jets here. But I'm going to screen share on my end. We're going to get the simulator ready to go. We will be doing fast mode, so we're going to rip through it. Everyone should be able to see it now on the screen. We're using the Pro Football Network simulator here. And let's mock away, baby. Here we go. Let's see how it plays out here.
No trades. That way we just stay calm.
Will Campbell. We're not trading with the New York Giants.
No.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Denver giving us a deal. I mean, this would be a great deal, though, by the way. I would strongly consider this.
Would you, if you want to do it and then pray that Banks falls there, you can do it. But I'm just saying, just for
maybe a receiver's there at 20, and then I'm getting an extra second-round pick and a second-round pick next year, in addition to pick 85, another top 100 pick.
What's the last pick? Because I know there's one more.
Yeah, the Steelers are coming up probably to get a quarterback. They're giving us so if the Jets could get this from Pittsburgh, this is a deal you do in a second. By the way, you get a second-round pick, or you get pick 83, which I think is a third-round pick, right? And you're getting their first and second next year. I don't know if this exists, but if Pittsburgh's coming all the way up, it's probably here to take Shedeur Sanders, who did slide. Holy hell, would I make this deal in a second? But you said you didn't want to do trades. So
if you want to do the trade, do this trade. I agree with you, because if at least then you'll be in line for Emeka Egbuka, who could play in your slot. That's an upgrade over what you have at wide receiver 2. Josh Simmons would be there. That'd be a pick that you could look at right tackle long term. I don't hate this one, and you still get a second round pick in return.
Yeah, so if we were to do a trade, we would do it. But let's just be realistic for this one, because we'll just try and get through it real quick. We'll do a wild mock next week with trades again. But we'll stick.
You know where I'm going to go. You know what I'm going to do.
You would take Membu here, I believe.
I would take Membu here. I think there are still good tight ends that I can land. I'm not sure I'm going to get the premier right tackle that will upgrade my offensive line to protect Justin Fields. That would be my pick.
So I would take Warren here, but you want Membu, so we will go with your selection here, and we'll see how it would play out. So Armin Membu's there at 7. We're taking him. Graham is off the board. The other players were Carter, Hunter. No surprise there. This is pretty realistic. This actually could play out, so it'd be interesting. All right. Let's continue with the mock draft here. Our next pick is in the second round. We're on at pick 42. So that'll be it. We were realistic there, but folks, I'll tell you what, if the Jets could somehow get an extra first next year and second, I don't care where they're moving to in the draft. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's why, folks, by the way, you should be rooting for Shedeur Sanders to fall. Because if he falls, then all of a sudden maybe something like that, maybe not Pittsburgh giving you their first and second next year to move up for him, but maybe something like a team coming up would be willing to give you next year's first in that scenario here. Colston Loveland is off the board. So for those thinking, hey, maybe they could get another tight end early second, it could be him. It will not be him. This mock draft will continue now. Let's see what we got here. Tyleik Williams has been mocked to the Jets by some. He ends up going into the first round. So he's off the board as well. Now officially into the second round. A run on wide receivers has happened. No surprise. Let's see what the Jets are going to be looking at when they're on the clock here. At pick 42 of the second round. Josh Connerly Jr. is not there. We're not making any trades in this, we've said. So reject that. Reject the Chargers deal. And then here we go, Cole. We are on the clock. Your thoughts?
Wide receiver and tight end. Like, that's where we're going. So let's see what's available.
The top wide receiver on the big board here is listed as Trey Harris. The top tight end is listed as Mason Taylor. So if we want to do Field Yates exact mock, guess what? We could do exactly that. Field Yates had the Jets taking Mason Taylor in the second round after he took Armin Membu at pick 7. So what would be your pick here if you had a choice?
Go to wide receiver and let's see who's available besides Trey Harris. Because
Higgins is there. Jack Besh is there.
See, here's my theory. Jack Besh or Jaden Higgins, I think is going to go 73 in this mock. So I think that's going to happen. I'm okay with Jack Besh at pick number 73. I know it's boring. I know that
he won't be there.
Jack Besh?
I don't think he's making it to the third round.
I will believe he will be there at 73. I will slap myself in the face on camera if he's not there at 73. That's how much I believe he's going to be there at 73. I'll go hard. Like, that's how much. I know it's boring. I know that we're literally just going to be copying Field Yates, but I'm getting a really good tight end that's an exceptional blocker, good intermediate part of the field, has a lot of similar traits that I think that emulate what Cole Kmet does. So it's like, I think that's fair. I think going after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mason Taylor is the pick from Cole. So we copied Field Yates, but just go tackle, and then they get their tight end, and now, I mean, we'll wait and see what receivers would be there at 73 because I feel like they have to get a receiver. Defensive tackle could be in play too in that spot. It's a good DT class. See if they like someone in that scenario. Joe Mike says, Cole, I think you should always slap your face anyway.
There you go. Problem solved. Let's go.
Nate says, can I slap Cole instead?
No, I mean, if you want to fly down to Houston, I'll let you do it. Or if Jake flies me up to a Jets event, I'll let you slap me in the face.
You can come to the draft
just
party,
as long
Cole.
as you do it with a scooter. Like, that's the only rule. You have to do it with a scooter. You have to be riding a scooter and do it.
Briga's worst nightmare wrote in. Briga, fear me. I'll tell you what. King Loski in cruise control here. The Cinderella, that is Dave Briga, is in serious danger of being eliminated. Loski up 70-30 in ASMANIAC Madness in our Sweet 16. I did not think this would be a blowout. I thought it could have been tight, 50-50, but King Loski dominated.
Let me ask you, when you look at how Loski's performed, has he just been blowout after blowout?
Yeah, he has not had a close game yet.
So why are you doubting that this is the one where it's not going to be a blowout?
Because Dave Briga has been on a run, and he's a man of God.
So it's Loski.
And
it's Loski.
He's forcing ASMANIACs to get jobs.
Oh, he is? Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Good for him. All right, so here we go. We're about to be on the board. Okay. Let's see.
Reject. All right.
Let's see who's available at wide receiver. Let's just see.
I'm looking at so Besh made it in this mock. I'm telling you in real life, I don't think he'll be there. But
I didn't say in real life. I said in this mock.
Yeah.
In real life, he's not there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In real life, he's not going to be there. So I would have taken him in the second round potentially.
Okay, but in this mock, he is there. So, okay. I'm right here. In this mock, I still land myself a really good wide receiver to 2. And a guy that can play in the slot, can play on the outside. He's a great blocker. You know he's going to fit in this style of offense. You know that he is going to be a dude that you can at least build an offense around. And I think that when you look at his size and his route running, it pairs extremely well with what you got and Garrett Wilson.
So I'm running in Besh here, but I don't think he's going to be there when push comes to shove.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. But in this mock, he's there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a mock, so we're taking Jack Besh. We're having fun. All right, let's cruise through these last picks here.
I mean, if the Jets came away with this, I think this would be a great draft. If you tell me Bembo, then they get Mason Taylor, and then they go out there and get Besh. I feel pretty good about the first three.
What
picks
if something
being
happens
starters.
at TCU's pro day where Jack Besh runs like a 4.72, and then he's no longer in the running to be in that late day second round pick? He's there. And what if he's there and he's right there, and all you got to do is trade up a 6th round pick to go get him? Would you not take that? You got to move up 3 spots to go get him, and you give up a 7th round pick. Wouldn't that be okay with you?
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think when it comes down to it, what you're trying to do is just get playmakers, given where the Jets are, because they've operated this offseason like they're expecting to come away from this draft with maybe 3 starters in the top 73. So if I got to trade, some later round picks to guarantee I'm getting someone I believe in, I'm doing it.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the clock. Up next in the 4th round, pick 110. If you're just tuning in, our first 3 picks have been Armin Membu, the tackle from Missouri at 7, Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU at pick 42 of round 2, Jack Besh, the wide receiver, the MVP of the Senior Bowl at pick 73. So those have been the 3 selections we have made. We are on the clock once again. The top players on the board are Jordan Birch, the edge from Oregon, Anthony Belton, who I like. And once again, another argument for me is I don't need to necessarily take a right tackle at 7 because I think there's guys in this draft. But I digress. Cole, your thoughts on where things stand here?
You want to go with so Belton's still available. See, Belton, if he's I think he's going to be available in round 4. Do you want to go get yourself a dude that you can feel can play maybe that swing tackle spot? Or do you want Nate actually brought this up. Josh Farmer's available. That's the pick. Again.
I would take Farmer because it's a need at defensive tackle, and Farmer, I think
that's the pick. No, that's 100% the pick. Not even remotely close. Like he's probably a round 3 dude. Again, this is why mocks are stupid. But if he's available, take him.
Edge is a need for the Jets too. And we as Jet fans have not talked enough about the need for edge right now. Who's the 3rd edge rusher on this team? I mean, is that Clemens won't be on the team?
Yeah, I say he's going to be gone.
Is it McGregor? Is it someone like that? You know what I mean? Like they could use an edge.
Humor me though. Even if the mock allows it to happen, I still think that Jack Sawyer is going to be a day 3 pick. So why don't you just get Jack Sawyer with your next pick? And now you get yourself a defensive tackle you can pair as a rotational guy, and then you find yourself that 3rd edge player. That maybe is going to be a 12 a game type of dude, but at least he's your 3rd edge guy that can provide value in the run support. That's what I would do.
I would just take Farmer here.
That's what I'm saying. Take Farmer here. But I think Farmer can play in the inside or he can play at the edge. He can play either spot. I'd rather put a little bit more weight on him and have him play defensive tackle.
I'm taking Farmer and putting him next to Quinnen Williams.
There you go. Problem solved.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the clock next at pick 145. But before we get to our pick, let's give some love to Janice Jet, who's in the ASMANIAC raffle 4-5. Thank you, Janice. We love your support.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
Did my Rex video play?
Yeah, I played. You're stalling though. You're muted, dude. Let's see. Am I going to be left alone?
How about now? Am I back?
Now you're good.
The problem is when we do these simulators, StreamYard can't handle multiple screens and then videos. Everything glitches. So, Janice, gotcha. I will make sure that we get you in the raffle, though. And your members just went to Alexi, Matthew Wright, Mike Cruiser, Ray Perez, all receiving channel memberships. All right. We're on the clock again, Cole. Pick 145 is where things stand. Hold on. Let me resume the draft. I didn't realize.
I say you might want to resume the draft. Let's go with that.
Yep.
This will be the last pick we make. We don't need to finish at the conclusion because I know you got to go, and I want to make sure that Ricky gets to be on with you here because we promised.
He did pay for it, so.
He did. Ricky, call in right now. We're going to go to you after we make this pick. We won't do the full 7 rounds here. We don't need to. We got the gist of it. Once again, Jets have made 4 picks in our mock today. We have selected Membu, Taylor, Besh, and Farmer. We'll make pick 145, and then we'll stop. We don't need to do the 5th round on. This will be our last pick.
Cool. You know who I'm just going to take if he's available. I'm just letting you know now. It's Jack Sawyer. Add him as your 3rd defensive end. Let him be a guy that you can have as a rotational option. It gives you an opportunity to see what you're going to have with Jermaine Johnson back for a year. Let's see what he's going to be in a year to where you got to figure out what's going to be the long-term plan for him. Same thing for Will McDonald. I'm cool with that. So I think that you go take Jack Sawyer, call it a day if he's available.
We are officially on the clock. You're a Sawyer guy,
defense. Cole? I believe in round 5, Jack Sawyer would be a great fit. Yes.
Is he listed as a linebacker in this?
I think he's a defensive end. Or an edge player.
Jack Sawyer. Yep. Right here.
There he is. Look
Ohio
at that.
State. All right. We will take your suggestion there.
And then with the last pick, go take Kyle McCord. There we go. There's your quarterback.
Well, let's see if he's there. I don't think McCord is actually going to be there. I mean, I guess it may be, but
I don't know because
he is there.
Here's
gonna
be the
McCord
thing.
Here, we could
just take McCord here, and then we can end the draft.
All right.
Just do that.
We will take McCord here and then end the
Here's
draft.
going to be the thing. Okay, here's going to be the thing with quarterbacks. When the run happens the way it happened in 2022, then you're going to start to see it unfold. So let's just say Quinn Ewers is QB4. Jackson Dart goes off the board late in round 1. Shadur and Cam go off the board. And then it's Quinn Ewers in round 3, late round 3. Then absolutely, why not? Go ahead. That's when the run's going to start. If he's not going until round 4 or round 5, then Kyle McCord's going to continue to fall down draft boards. It's when that next quarterback goes, whether it be Tyler Shuck, whether it be Jalen Milroe, whether it be Quinn Ewers. When somebody goes, then you're making a play at a quarterback. But until then, you're fine. And guess what? Quarterbacks aren't going. So there you go. Kyle McCord, round 6. Welcome to the Jets.
I think we did well. We don't need to do a 6th and 7th round, but we did take McCord there, who I don't know in real life if he'd be there that late, but we did get him locked in. All right. As promised, Ricky NY will be our first caller to you, Cole. I know you got to go in just a few minutes, so we will squeeze Ricky in. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I need all of you to do if you're watching the show. I need all of you to sing along.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Jordan Travis, you know he's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Ricky.
Oh, smoking debate, Ricky.
Hey, how's it going, guys? And
I love
I'm in
this.
my
Yes,
baby.
Ricky just made my day. Ricky just made my freaking day. Oh God, Ricky, is that your favorite part he's ever played?
You know what? That was a good one, but I gotta say my favorite was Jim Morrison when he did the Doors movie.
Okay, that's fair.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you: have you ever seen the movie MacGruber?
You know what? I think I had. It's been a while ago, though.
It is the dumbest movie I've ever seen, and it's dumb because Val Kilmer makes it so freaking stupid. I love it. Like that is one of the most underrated roles he has ever played in because he's fully invested into playing that.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. That's what a huge loss that is. You know, I actually heard about it last night while I was at work, and I was bummed. But you know, I was almost, you know, kind of hoping we would finish the draft because the last draft you guys did, you know, even though it was kind of, you know, crazy trade and there was you know, dozen picks or whatever, dude, I love me some JJ Pegues, and you made my day when you made that pick. So, you know, Yeah, I get a little bit crazy sometimes. So, I can kind of envision a Tanner Angstrom offense that has like Savion Williams and bringing in JJ Pegues, just like as many crazy ass weapons as we could dream up. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. But what I wanted to ask you is, based on like the comments that Glenn has made and how he keeps going back and saying speed changes the games. You can't teach speed. What do you think when we get to say 146 taking Ty Felton from Maryland?
I love that pick. I do. Now, here's what I will say. Ty Felton is not going to be a guy that is a incredible route runner and have a great route tree. He is known for being a vertical threat. That's what he did when he was at Maryland. That is what his bread and butter is going to be. But if I can get the version of Justin Fields that I saw in 2020 and 2019 that was uncorking 40-yard blast downfield to Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and who's the other wide receiver that I'm blanking off the top of my head, and then tight end with Jeremy Ruckert. If I could get that version of him, Ty Felton's the dude that's going to be averaging 18.9, 19 yards a play, but he's only going to be used in one way. So, I love the fact that you mentioned 149. I think he's going to go a little bit earlier than that, but he's there. That's the guy that you need to target if you're okay with just having a big play machine. Now, everything else that comes with it, you got to hope that he will hit on better route tree, better blocker, better overall consistency when it comes to the intermediate part of the field. But if I can get that vertical presence, I agree with you, Ricky. I do think that is something that you want to add into your offense because of what he can provide on the outside. And by the way, it was JSN. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. But which that's what kills me when people act like Justin Fields can't throw the ball. It's like, why? Who do you think threw the ball to all these guys at Ohio State? Man, they weren't throwing it to themselves, But and by no means would I suggest Felton be our only receiver. I look at him as more as an additional, like take a Golden earlier or Besh or somebody earlier. But then we could use more than one. So that would be an intriguing thought to me. But yeah, I just wanted to hear what your thoughts are. And hey, you know what? Maybe having you on all these draft shows will prove us lucky because Cole Kmet had one of his best years, was one of the better tight ends in the league when he had Fields throwing him the ball. So keep bringing us that luck and keep up the good work, man. You guys have a great day.
Ricky, great call.
Bye, Ricky.
Man. Great call from Ricky. What do you think of Ricky's theme song that Gator made recently?
It's fantastic.
It's
it
so
is
funny.
Fantastic.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Jordan Travis, you know he's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Yeah, baby. By the way, Gator, I think, has seen the JJ diss track, and it's in Gator's hands if he's going to respond or if he's not going to give JJ the attention that he's looking at. He's looking for it, Shout out to Bo C. Bo, you're the man. I hope you saw the announcement earlier. We got a signed Maynard photo, frame photo with certificate of authentication added to the raffle this morning. But Bo, you are in the ASMANIAC raffle for 10 more entries. Cole, I know you got to run, so I will read these names right after you log off. But tell people where they could find your personal YouTube channel and where they could find you.
At FCC Unfiltered, if you want to check it on out. I'm also live every single day now from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sports Talk 790 with the A-Team. If you ever want to hear Houston Sports Talk, I'm down there. You can follow me on Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter. I'll take care, guys. And always remember, I'm your Huckleberry. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cole Thompson, weekly spot. Do another mock next week where we can maybe make some of those wild trades. But the one thing I will say about the mock we did, if there legitimately is a path for one of these quarterbacks to be there at 7, probably not going to be Cam. Maybe it's Sanders. Then we could maybe see if a team so desperate for a quarterback would trade you a lot. And I would take it. I don't care where the Jets move back. If you tell me they're getting a first rounder next year, I would make that deal in a second. Blitz Got Beats just received a membership. Chronic Apples, Florida Jet Fan, Zach R, Flight Boys, Sean, Tony Alvarado, Lee Van, Zach Rosenberg, Michael Gordon, all receiving channel memberships. All right, folks, let's update the scoreboard here. I thought this would be close, but it's a testament to this man's greatness that it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all King Loski, up 71-29 on One Punch Dave Briga. So the King appears to be headed to the Elite Eight. King Loski, big fella. That's the matchup if the scores hold.
I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will not get the Loski versus Gorman showdown. But we have something that's going to be epic between Loski and the big fella. And King Loski has called in, and he joins the show right now. What's up, King? You're a dominator, man. Congrats to you.
Jake, my brother. Jake, my brother. It's always good to see you, my brother. I just want to first and foremost say, man, I appreciate the ASMANIACs. Y'all been riding with me. Y'all been through some of my most outrageous takes, some of my most outrageous calls. Man, I just love the community of the ASMANIACs. I want to say thank you. And to my opponent, Dave Briga, it took more than one punch, Briga. You needed about 4 or 5 of them, Briga. You needed about 4 or 5 of them. I'm telling you, man, this ASMANIAC tournament is off the chain, baby. I love every minute of it. You hear me? Huh? ASMANIAC, maniac, I need more. I'm telling you, Jake, I need it. I need the ASMANIACs to show up. Y'all see me in another good shirt, baby. The grind don't stop. If anybody out there hiring your boy King Loski needs a job, and I'm ready to work, I'm ready to get to it, I'm ready to make them ducats and buckets, baby. Let's do it, all right? At the end of the day, baby, I love the Jets' attitude, baby. Let's get this damn locker room together, you hear me? Let's get these players in this draft together. Let's get this damn team to winning freaking games, okay? Let's do that, baby. All right? At the end of the day, baby, again, I want to say thank you, ASMANIACs, for voting for your boy, King Loski. All right? JTS! Jets!
King Loski, man, dominating. And look, Briga's had an unbelievable run. You know, he's a 15th seed in the Sweet 16. That's a testament to what Briga brought to the table. Briga needed an overtime game against Mike D's Nuts. Think about how close that one was. But King Loski is dominating, folks. And look, you look at a guy who could win the whole thing. How could we not look at Loski as one of the favorites of this stage? I think Loski, big fella, is an epic regional final. I think if we look at the matchup this afternoon, you got Peter Castro and Weed in the Hood region. Neil versus David T is the other matchup in the Hood region. So we could be getting maybe a Neil versus Castro regional final. Maybe a David T versus Castro. Could Weed upset Castro? And then we get Weed versus David T. Could you imagine the memes for that one? I mean, some great Elite Eight matchups potentially on the horizon. But this afternoon, Peter Castro and Weed will go at it. Reminder, this show's available in podcast form. So, if you want to listen to the Jake Asman Show on the go, we post the full YouTube show as an audio podcast on both Apple and Spotify. Just search Jake Asman Show, and it comes right up. Ladies and gentlemen, Bo C with a super chat. There is only one Loski. That's right. Michael writes in, if Sanders is there at 7, the phone lines to Florham Park will be open. More capital to get our QB1 in 26. Yeah, and also more capital to put the Jets in a spot where they could surround this year's team with good players, especially if they're offensive weapons, which they desperately need. Look, if the Jets take Shedeur Sanders, that means they think he's going to be a franchise quarterback. And while I personally wouldn't do it and don't see them doing it, we can't rule it out. But I don't think they're going to do it based on what Glenn has said about Fields. I felt like some of the dart stuff was like concerning me a little bit when you hear like that much smoke around the guy. And it's not just like the beat. It's like McShay talking about it. But I don't think they're going to take him at 7. And I don't think they would take Shedeur Sanders at 7. But I think Glenn's comments this week on Fields really tell me that they think he could be their guy. And they'll try it for a year and they'll go from there. Nick Shine with a super chat. Dave getting knocked out by someone without a job is something nobody saw coming. Best of luck, King. I think Loski has a job. He's just interviewing for other jobs. I think that's what he said. But I see your point. By the way, Nick, I gave you and Purple Belt Mike a shout out at the start of the show for what you guys are doing behind the scenes, helping Charles Gorman out. So shout out to you. Everyone go subscribe to Nick's YouTube channel. Rex Ryan's watching the show. All respect to Briga's Cinderella run, but the king stays the king. Hey, you come at the king, you best not miss. Man. Dave Briga's looking for the link I'm seeing. Well, David is pinned, but I will post it again in the comments just for you. Well, actually, is the link... You know what? I apologize, folks. The link apparently was... I thought I pinned it, but maybe it got unpinned somehow. It is not pinned, so I'm going to pin it right now. All right, let's get to more of your calls right now. On the Gusbuster hotline is someone that this chat respects, someone this chat sometimes fears, and someone that this chat absolutely loves. Ladies and gentlemen, he has many names, but today he's Bob from Vermont.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Hello. Look at me.
Look at that hair. Yeah.
I know. You know what? Somebody said on my show last night, I look like John Gotti.
You kind of do.
Yeah, I know. I like your hat.
Thank you. It was inspired by King Loski, and I got my one-punch Briga right here.
Yep. I called up today at the hotel. The hiring manager is at a meeting in another state, so she will be in tomorrow.
Oh boy.
That's the I got up early. I brushed my hair to get ready.
You look good. You know what they say, Bobby. You got to dress for success. You know.
Yes, everybody said I looked good on yesterday. Looking good, looking sharp, not like a bum. B-U-M. I want to sing something to King Loski. Something for King. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye, Dave Briga. Because I love King Loski. He's my friend. He's my friend. I love King Loski. I don't like. Yeah, I love King Loski.
So you like Loski, but does that mean you don't like Dave Briga?
No, I like Dave Briga, but I like King Loski better.
I see.
Yeah. I respect Dave Briga, okay? That's how it goes. Respect, because he's...
How could you not respect Dave Briga?
He's my elder, so that's how it goes. Elder, man, yeah.
Are you calling
so
him
I'm not going to call that three-letter word that he does not like. I won't call him that anymore.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. No, I respect. And then you see the Yankee game yesterday?
I did see it. It was a tough one, but it's going to
I
happen.
know that
over the
guy
course of
who hit the grand slam. Oh my God! I tell you, we were doing pretty good up to that point.
I mean, it was their first loss of the season.
Yeah, I know, but then Addison Revs and then Dodgers at 7-0. Oh, jeez.
It's all right. We don't have to worry about the Dodgers until hopefully the World Series. So we'll deal with that.
Yeah, well, hopefully they don't even make it. That would be much better. Yeah. I can't wait to meet you up at the thing.
Are you definitely going? Like this is actually happening?
Yeah, well, you don't want me to go?
No, of course I want you to go, but I feel like we promised a lot of the 1 seeds to be there, and after the Charles Gorman controversy, I don't know if his parents are going to ever let him out of the house again. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make it to the party.
God. No, that happened to me one time on Facebook, okay? I talked to this woman, and then she asked me for money. So I totally got, like, Nick and Nate and Addison, and they said, stay away from that. I almost got caught up in that, too. So, yeah, you got to stay away from those imaginary people. You know?
JD says you bring the show to a screeching halt. Would you like to respond?
Oh, hi, JD. I like you, too. You type very well. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment.
Gator says you look like Rosie O'Donnell if Rosie was attractive.
Rosie O'Donnell. I know Rosie O'Donnell. That's a good one. Rosie O'Donnell was, she was a good lady. She had her own talk show. Then she ended up in, what's it called? Oh, what was that called? Give Me a Break. She was on Give Me a Break at one time. No, she was good. Yeah, she was awesome. Anybody else? Next question.
Well, Beastbreaker came to your defense.
What did he say?
He wrote, Bobby is a man. JD Surf City is a clown.
I agree with you, Storm. Yep, that's good. I'm trying not, Beastbreaker, I'm trying not to let anybody get under my skin. So, John got it. Yeah, Bobby got it. Yeah, I think Bobby got it. Yeah. Bobby, calm your freaky down. You head Woodruff. Oh my God, that's good. Yeah.
Cincy Matt writes in, Bobby Leotardo.
Bobby Leotardo.
Have you seen The Sopranos? You look like Phil Leotardo.
Oh, the guy from Blue Bloods?
Is Phil Leotardo on the show Blue Bloods? I don't watch that show.
What's the guy? Scapelli?
I know what's his name from The Sopranos is on that show. Bobby Bacala.
Yeah, he's in Blue Bloods. Oh, they got to come back as Boston Blues, I heard.
Peter Castro says that you look great.
Thank you, Peter Castro, and thank you for the present you gave me the other day.
Are you voting for Castro this afternoon, or do you think We the People is going to get your vote?
Oh, that's another hard one. Who did he go up against? Oh, Nate. He went up against Nate the last time, right?
Yeah, Peter beat Nate. It was a great battle.
Oh my God. Oh no. This is a hard one, man.
Why are you laughing? What is so funny about this?
I gotta think about it. It's hard to think about it. I love both people. I met
Are you gonna abstain from voting?
No.
You have to exercise your right as an Asmaniac to vote.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be hard because I met Weed in person, and I love Peter Castro and his wife. We talk a lot on my show, so he's a good guy. Oh, there's my brother. You want to say hi to Mikey?
Of course, I want to say hi to Mikey.
All right, can you put us full screen?
Mikey.
Where do you think it is? Mikey, tell him you coming down.
I apologize the other time.
Yeah.
I love you. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mikey, I love you. I can't wait to see you at the draft party.
Yeah, me too. He's got to behave himself.
I'm going to get a root beer. Buy me a root beer.
Root beer.
Root beer.
I will get you all the root beer you want that entire night, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like root beer. That's my favorite soda. I don't know if they have grape soda. I don't know if they have.
He loves grape soda too.
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey, what do you think of your brother's new hairstyle? He looks cool.
Yeah, hopefully get to hear. I hope today he hears about that.
No, I did hear from.
Yeah, they did it.
She's at a meeting.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm gonna get up early.
I missed you too. You missed me too.
Of course I miss you, Mikey.
I heard Big Fella beat Charles in the tournament.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, Big Fella was all out to win yesterday. He dressed up as the Bat Fella.
His Batman.
Yeah, I saw you on TV when I came home to YouTube on. I saw you.
Yeah, you gotta turn off that TV when you call in.
No, I shut the TV down last time.
All right, we gotta get him a webcam tomorrow.
A webcam. No
We'll get a
picture.
webcam tomorrow.
Yeah, I missed you, Jake, and everybody. Brother Nick, I love you too. I want to apologize to you too.
He's in the chat.
I like Gator too. I love Gator. Gator.
I love that Ricky
Someone
song.
was picking on Gator the other day.
Oh,
JJ. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, gentlemen, because Gator's got a lot of friends in this community. Hold on. And there's been a response, not from Gator to JJ, but from one of the greats out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you right now the Jets Johnny diss track aimed at JJ. Hello, JJ. How's everyone doing today?
Watch what you say. Watch what you. Watch what you say. Watch what you. Watch what you say. Watch what you. JJ, you must be out your motherfucking mind, boy. This rapping on the mic shit is mine, boy. You know this is my time, boy. So step back and let me rhyme, boy. Yeah, your flow's a broken record, stuck on repeat. I'm fresh like a new beat, you're cold like old me. You clowning Gator, but the joke's on you. I could beat you in FIFA and steal your girl too. Your rhymes are outdated like a dial-up on the net. I'm spitting so sick, every line's a hard reset. Chef Kev in this kitchen, burnt toast on the side, serving up raw fire while you down for this right. Even when I go cringe, I'm better than you. You're corny and the punchlines on you. So I just wanted to take this time to shout out all my guys, and I just wanted to say, oh my god, Bouncy, I love you, girl, yes, queen. Shut the fuck up, JJ. Shut the fuck up, JJ. We don't wanna hear what the fuck you gotta say, just shut the fuck up, JJ. Say shut the fuck up, JJ. Shut the fuck up, JJ. We don't wanna hear what the fuck you gotta say, just shut the fuck up, JJ. You know I love you, man.
Apologies for the language, but I had to play that. Gator's my guy. And shout out to Jets Johnny for going up and in. Unreal. That was pretty sick. Jets Johnny, you're the man. Give it up for Jets Johnny. Jets Johnny, you got to make a YouTube channel where we can put all your tracks in one spot. Benny says it's Bobby Sabo. I texted Robbie during Bobby's call. I go, people are calling Bobby today Bobby Sabo. Robbie might be watching right now. I don't know. He just texted me as I was saying that. All right, let's get to a couple more of your calls. But first, we got to check in with this guy. He's one of the legends in this community. He just ran into a king, King Loski. Ladies and gentlemen, we hear from the great Dave Briga.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him One Punch Briga. The moon landing was great. They call him One Punch Briga. His claim is not too dirty. One Punch Briga. He did jokes just like his ass. One Punch Briga. Those that know they need one. Yeah.
Hello, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Jake. How are you this morning?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Good, good. It looks like an insurmountable lead there for Loski, you know. So he's a great caller. He's been coming in. I can't compete with that voice, so there's no way possible. Okay, there's no way possible. So you know, he's a great caller. He's been around. You know, he's got. Hey, listen, I came in here. The committee voted me in, brought me in. I went against, you know, the first match, then Beast. You know, Beast. I'm glad to see that, you know, he has some respect now. It seems to be improving in his attitude. So we brought that to the table. We brought to the table the guys to get out there and look for work. Bobby looks great, cleaned up, boy, I tell you. And I told him, I said, Bobby, do some of those shows with your hat off. He looks great. And, you know, I hope he keeps going. So that's what I bring to the table. You know, never give up. Keep going. I love Loski, but I have to say this. We have earthly kings, but there's only one king, the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua Mashiach. So, Loski, that's the one beef I have with you. That's about it. He's a great Jets fan, but there's only one king, and that's all. Okay? You know what's I'm glad I want him to go all the way because I know, hey, I'm not going to overcome this lead. I tried and I'm not going to denigrate Loski because he's a great guy, so I'm not going there. Now, if I were against Gary and this was happening, it would be unbearable for me to lose. It would be unbearable, absolutely unbearable. But Loski, I appreciate this because I know he's a man of reason, and I've seen through the chats. He's got respect for our country, and he's an achiever. He believes in our country. He believes what he's being taught. Okay, so you got to disseminate before the good and the evil. Okay, what's going on today for all our men, and for Charles. It was great to see he went to his parents because he needed help greatly, and I was putting that in the chat. Charles, go to your family. Go to your family. Don't depend on people in the chat. They're strangers for the most part. Yes, we're Jet fans, okay? But he's living with his family, okay? Whatever happened, that's going through his household. So I'm glad to see that his dad got involved, and I'm praying for Charles that whatever happens in the future, he's able to make great strides. So with that said, gentlemen, I'm not going to have a concession speak because basically it's over. So I want to give Loski all his props. I want this man to go forward because he's with the big boys. I don't want any little boys winning in his competition. And I'm not going to go there. And especially if they're Giants fans, I do not want people voting on the basis, okay, they cut me out. That's good. All right, go all the way. Loski, go all the way, my man.
I love it. Dave, you're the man. You're a great caller. Your run in this tournament was legendary. You knocked out the polarizing Beast Breaker. And then your greatness is that you got him to become a fan of yours after you already eliminated him from the tournament, which is amazing. And then you played in the first ever overtime game in the history of ASMANIAC Madness. Who knows if we ever get another one? The odds of that are just crazy. So your run is legendary, and I think we'll be talking about it for a very long time.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Zosha. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Dave Briga. Sing along.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see ASMANIACs complain. What he call him, one punch Briga. You need to get a job. What he call him, one punch Briga. The beast is on his ass. Call him one punch Briga. Has anyone seen Bean Mac? Call him one punch Briga. You only need one.
Incredible. Now, look, we got a long way to go until we get to ASMANIAC Madness in 2026. But you best believe the committee has to strongly take into account the possibility of a future Briga versus Gary matchup at some point in the tournament. Now, who knows what the seeding would look like for that. I think if Briga consistently calls all year, he's not a 15 seed. There's no chance. But, wow. Imagine that. But how about that? King Loski getting the Briga endorsement there, too. I mean, King Loski, he's dangerous. He could, you could argue if Vegas was setting lines on the favorites left in the tournament, Loski could be the biggest favorite. You got Loski and Big Phil in the chicken soup. We got Weed and Castro this afternoon, Neil and David T. The other Sweet 16 matchups, we go to the Butter region. The Butter region's been chaos. We've had some of the top seeds eliminated all across the Butter region. Allen was a 3 seed. He got knocked out in this region. Yeah, the highest seed, or the lowest seed in this region, I should say, is Gary. He's the 2. We got Craig, who's a 6. Ricky, who's a 4. Knocked out Mikey. J-Quest is an 8. Beat the 1 seed. Train region, and Lane is the only one seed still in the tournament. After Gorman went down yesterday. Clifton's a 4. Bonesy a 3. V-Man a 2. So some chalk on the other side of the bracket there, but could we get a Gary versus Loski final? We could get that. Bonesy versus Loski. Could be another final, too. Unreal. Shout out to Purple Belt Mike. Mike, I don't know if you saw the open of the show, but I gave you a shout out for what you're doing behind the scenes, helping out Charles. So everyone give some love to PBM, who I just saw is in the chat. Big fella with a super chat here. Jake, I watched yesterday's show twice, pure insanity. Both shows yesterday were insane. The first show with JJ going at everyone, including Gator. And then the second show, unreal. Unreal. I believe Oscar the Grouch timestamped some of the best moments from the second show yesterday. So thank you for that, Oscar. For those of you not watching, if you could timestamp your favorite moments for those in the chat who can't see the show live, please do that. Super helpful for people to get caught up. Let's say hi to a man I just mentioned, Kyle Clifton. He's next. Hey, Kyle.
What's going on, Jake? Well, Dave Briga is always a gentleman. It comes through even when his connection's not so great. You know, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the king. But Dave doesn't have to worry about a Giants fan winning this whole thing. I'll be taking Lane out in the next round.
Yeah.
Just want to lay that out there. Lane's kind of a one-trick pony, and it's a hell of a trick for sure. But lately he's been acting as if he doesn't even need to show up on the show to remind people who he be, as they say. So I'm going to be here every day and making my case, and we'll see if we can put our best foot forward. I'm looking forward to facing V-Man or Bonesy in the Elite Eight. So as far as football goes, I think draft positioning is really where it comes in. If for someone to want to come up, you need people that want to go back. And, if Shador were to slip, I would think that the Raiders right in front of us might be a team that might want to go back as well. That's the one thing that makes it kind of tough to envision us getting the deal to just go back a few spots to number 9 where the Saints are, like if they were in love with Shador. The one thing that I want to say, and it kind of was proved out by your mock that you had with Cole this morning, is I think it might be prudent to wait on DT a little bit, because you might get a guy like Farmer there at 109. And that's a hell of a player to get at 109. You're definitely going to get rotational guys in the 4th or 5th round, and I don't want to miss out on a tight end at 7 or 42, because I think that after 42, a guy I might like Arroyo or Mason Taylor or even Warren at 7 will be gone. And I think that there's kind of a drop off for what we want to do after that 2nd round pick. Just wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that. And then I'm going to probably head to the stores and get my son a Zegos before we have a problem tomorrow morning.
I love it. Kyle, appreciate you. I like your scenario. I do agree with you. I think they could find starters in the 3rd and 4th round this year at certain positions. And I think you and I have agreed for a while, you got to play the board. Like, not every draft is equal. That's why I think we could get a good tackle day 2, day 3, if we're looking for a right tackle. So we had Warren and Membu in our mock this morning on the show. I would have taken Warren. Cole wanted Membu. I won't criticize the Jets if they take Membu. I just think they better get it right with the 2nd and 3rd round picks, assuming it's going to be a weapon there. I don't know, though, if the DT that we took, Farmer, I don't know if he'll be there in the 4th round. If he is, great. I just don't know how realistic that is. And I don't think Besh will be there in the 3rd round either. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Will Parkinson liked Besh enough that in one of the mocks he did, he took him at pick 42. Julian with a Asmaniac super chat. What's up, Jake? Happy 8 months. Happy 8 months to you, Julian. Thanks for the support. Hope the Jets take a weapon for Justin Fields to throw to, because Lazard ain't it. I mean, I don't think Lazard's going to be on the team, guys. I don't buy whatever they're trying to spin on Lazard. I would take Warren, Tet, or Dixon Hole at 7. Look, if they took Dixon Hole, no one could argue with that decision. I like Tet. It just feels like everyone else is kind of like soured on him. I don't know. Now there's some stuff about, does he love football? I don't know. We can't rule out Tet, but I don't think he's going to be their pick. I'd be surprised. We have a brand new channel emoji that Gator just made. I don't know if we'll leave this emoji around for a while, but in honor of Bobby Midnight's new hairdo, we present the Bobby O'Donnell emoji, or the Bobby Gotti emoji. I just checked. YouTube says we are 12 memberships away from being able to add this. So if you want to gift a membership to help us be able to add this, please do so. And you're also will be entered in the ASMANIAC raffle. Some are saying Bobby looks like a North Korean dictator, and by some, that's Nick Shine. This really is a great emoji, Gator. Well done. Luffy immediately gifting 5. That's why Luffy is the man.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
That's why he's the Lup man, baby. Joshua Langley, NYC Camper, Ray Mirabel, D-Rock NY, and John Stelly. Bobby, you really should, though, wear a hat less if you have this good hair. Like, I wish I had Bobby's hair. If my hair had that hairline, oh my God, that'd be incredible. I love that. Watching the Jets too much has destroyed my hair. Oof. He looked great. Yo, Home says Bobby is the Shah of Iran. God. Boomtown says it seems like the talk of Clyde Midia has really died down. I'm sure it'll flare up again. My brother says Phil Leotardo. Someone called that earlier. Big fella says Bobby needs some hair gel to finish the look. I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we have the best listeners of all time. Gang Green or Green Gang 365 just gifted 5 channel membership. And Bo C, baby, yeah, just got us there to add this emoji. 10 channel memberships. I think it's time we get a Bo C video. Bo, I'm going to get with Gator, and we're going to come up with something for you, man. I can't thank you enough for the daily support you bring to all of us on this channel.
Now, give me money, or I shoot him, and I shoot all you motherfuckers, and then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
All right, here we go. These are from who else? Our guy, Bo Seafris, Phantom Green and White, King Saria, A&J Gaming, Alan is a douche, Winston Grant, Daryl Osborne, Scott G999, Stephen B, Kagarian, Bubble Boy, John, Project Beck, SD Jet Fan, Drop Back Mark, all receiving channel memberships from Bo, who comes through. Let me see if I can now officially add this Edgemo, as the late, great Keith Best would say. But right now, we say hello to a man who made a comp that emoji looks like a dictator of North Korea. A man who actually went above and beyond yesterday for one of our own, helping Charles Gorman deal with being catfished live on our show yesterday. The great Nick Shine is on the line, and he joins us now. Hello, Nick.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Nick, how are you, man? I want to say it again. I know I spoke to you off air. Thank you for what you're doing with Charles, man. You really stepped up to the plate to help him. You and Purple Belt Mike leading the charge there. So I speak on behalf of everyone saying we appreciate what you're doing helping Charles out.
No worries, man. It was called for. You know, it kind of fell into my lap, and at that point, I turned my back on him. I could tell that he was deep in a rabbit hole, and he had fallen for this, and he needed some assistance. So shout out to Mike. Mike was the brains behind the operation. I was the big brother yelling at him to shut the fuck up and listen. Like, just listen to Mike word for word. What are you not doing? But we got it. I talked to Dennis last night, and it's a fluid situation. But the Gorman's got a lot rectified this morning, it sounds like, and he's moving in a good direction. So his all the accounts are shut down. His everything's basically at a halt right now. So Mike's going to walk him through some further steps. But Mike deserves all the love. He, like I said, he was the brains. I was the emotional loudmouth telling Charles to fall in line. I was the drill sergeant. There you go.
So yeah, you were telling me this like before the show, like he was still like thinking this was real even after all this happened. Like you had to like really sit him down and be like, Charles, this is not a real person on the other side of the phone there.
Yeah, and God bless him, because like he wants to believe it's real. Like he wanted to have someone care for him, like, you know, and that's like the naive part. And it's a shame that it happened, but like it's deeper. Like when you really think about it, like he doesn't deserve to be ridiculed. Like he's a simple, like pure soul, and he wants like a soulmate. And they found the perfect mark, like so to say, you know. But he is all right. Like I said, I talked to his dad, and Mike talked to his dad this morning, and it's moving in a good direction. So I know some people have wanted to help out with Charles. Just know that anything that you send for Charles, I know a couple of people Venmoed yesterday, we're going to send that money then to me. I'll withdraw it and I'll give Charles cash because he has no bank access right now. So for those that do want to help Charles out but are a little hesitant about it with what they heard yesterday, there's still a way to help him. And I live in town with Charles, so already someone sent last night. I got to go take money out. I said, let's wait a little bit. I'll make one trip. So he's all right.
What is your Venmo, Nick?
It's Nick. I'll put it in the chat.
Nick
Shine -1.
All right. So people want to throw some money towards Gorman. He basically got robbed of like what, $600-700 it looks like.
Yeah, he did pay his rent though. He did send money for the rent before this went down. So that's a good thing. You know, you don't need to fall back there. But there's some action that can take place. Hopefully within 48 hours everything gets flagged and maybe they can rectify it.
Yep.
But yeah, I talked to him this morning. He wanted to come by. I'm like, I gotta cook, I gotta shower, and I gotta get out and run some errands. I'm like, we'll talk on the phone, but we'll meet up at some point because I got to drop money off to him.
Oh my God. We have our first troll account on this.
Yeah.
Jake, I need $700, right, Sin? Send me more money.
Yeah, saw those coming. Yeah, it's a rough watch. When if you care about Charles and you go back and rewatch it, man, it's like heartbreaking.
I didn't want to believe it at first. I'm like, oh, it's April Fool's Day. He's pulling this off because he's competing in the tournament on April Fool's Day. Like, that's funny. That's creative. And then I'm like, uh-oh. It was when he saw Leanie's comment when he realized this might be real and he might be getting scammed.
Yeah, and I blame Johnny Boy for it because Johnny called me during it. Like, hey, are you watching this? Are you seeing what's happening? And I'm like, oh, John, is this your way of saying, hey, look at what I created? So I blame Johnny Boy immediately. And I had to walk that back to him later at night and apologize. Thank you, Rat Diddy. I just saw your text. Rat Diddy's going to help him out. Yeah, it was when I started rewatching it last night when I got, and the part that broke my heart is when he goes, enough with the madness. This is serious. And it's like, oh, dude, they got you hook, line, and sinker. That's the part where you could see that he was all in with it.
How about the line when I'm like, where's the money going to? Like, what's it for? And he's like, the financial fund. I'm like, the financial fund for what?
Yeah, it was it's a rough watch. But
well, hopefully he learned his lesson. That's the positive.
Yeah, and can we talk about Bobby's hair?
Well, we can, Nick, because guess what? The emoji is now live. Bobby Gotti emoji is now live. If you refresh and you're a confirmed channel member, you will see it. Thank you to Luppy, Green Gang, and Bo for getting us the amount of memberships we needed. You guys are all in the raffle as well for doing that. I mean, this is a great emoji that Gator made that fast.
If every part of Bobby could stick up straight like his hair does, he wouldn't be shooting dust anymore. He would be a fully functioning adult.
He better get this job now. I mean, he looks too good to not get hired at this hotel.
How do you turn that away?
Unreal. Just sexy.
Who would turn that away?
Ladies and gentlemen, I got some good news as this show continues to get more wild by the second. I believe Mr. Bobby Gotti is going to be calling in shortly here. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, boy.
In fact, Bobby Gotti not only has called in, but he's ready to go.
Hey, Nick. I think I agree with you. What's that guy's name? What's
Kim
the guy?
Jong Un.
Yeah, that's the guy. I hate that guy. He killed his own brother. Yeah, that's sicko. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Team America? Can you do me
Which one?
Han Boyek, so nice to see you again.
Which one? Coming to America?
Team America. The guys from South Park made it. It's puppets.
Okay, what do I have to say again?
Han Boyek, so nice to see you again.
Han Wicks, nice to see you again.
Perfect, Bob. You nailed it.
Indy Jets,
Oh, wait.
check your mail. Your Antonio Cromartie helmet was just delivered. Congratulations.
We're
Anyway,
gonna meet him at the draft party, right?
that's right, Indy Jets.
I
better
see
not-
Eric Kelly asking. I don't have Zelle. Jake, don't you have Zelle?
I do. You Zell Asman Jake at Gmail. You can send it to me. I'll send it to Nick. Eric, if you want to do that.
I better watch that my piece of cues when I meet in the Jets. Gotta be a good boy down there.
Look at
It's a
you,
great
man.
play.
That hair,
Well,
dude. How do you cover that hair up all the time? I
Well,
don't have that. I just try to shave my
I'm-
head. I don't have that hair. Look at that thing.
I know. I'm never gonna lose this stuff. I'll tell you that much. Never.
That is remarkable.
Well, I got it from my grandma. Yeah. And
You look
then
like
I
you're
get-
standing behind a jet engine and it's just blowing it backward.
I know, right? Yeah, I got a little puffy today. Yesterday, it looked like I thought I looked like John Gotti too.
If I had hair like that, I wouldn't wear a hat as often as you do, Bobby. I mean, you should be. flaunting
Yeah,
that
I
thing all the
should
time.
not. Yeah, definitely.
Puff
But
Bobby
during the
in the
winter,
house.
you got to cover your head when you go outside. So I wear a hat, cover my hair. But then now with tomorrow, I got to call that lady because she's at a meeting out of state, like New Hampshire. She went to New Hampshire, and then she's coming back. And then I'm gonna get up early and call her like 7:00 in the morning. That's what time she usually gets in, 7.
Yeah, baby.
And then if I get the job, I start at 5:30. Michael's gonna drive me into work, he said. Couldn't believe that.
What
He
a brother.
Yeah, because he works at night, then he gets home like 10 o'clock, I think. And then after that, he goes to bed. I don't know what time he goes to bed, but then he's gonna wake up at 5:00 and 5:30 for me. That's nice. I thought he'll let me put the car in here now because it's springtime. Because during the winter, he parks it under where he lives. He lives in the garage. He could park the car there.
I have no idea what the hell you said the last 2 minutes. I'm just watching the hair.
Watching the hair.
I have no
Okay.
idea what you just said. Just
How's that
watching
like
the
it?
hair, dude. It's beautiful.
How's that?
Leany says, looking good, Bobby.
Yeah, Leany, you look good every day.
Calm your freaky down.
No, I don't even have that anymore. Gator has to put that back up for me. Wait till JJ. JJ's in trouble when Gator gets a hold of him.
Oh,
He's in trouble. Yeah,
He's in big trouble. And JJ joins us now. JJ, you're in big trouble.
Hi, JJ. You like my hair?
Yeah, I like it, man. Nice. Who did it for you?
Yeah, I know. I do. My haircut lady, Desiree cuts it, and I just brush it back.
You look 30 years younger with that hair.
Oh, I'll take that. I need that. Then I could maybe go down to New York or Florida. No,
Okay.
New York.
Are you coming to the party? To the draft party, Bobby?
Yes, me and Michael are going. Yeah.
Oh,
Jake,
nice. Jake, you
You
got
gotta
yourself a all-star coming to the draft party, man.
We do.
Nice job,
well,
Jake.
I need Bobby there. I promised the audience 1 seeds, but I mean, Nick, you can probably speak to this better than anyone. I'm not feeling great about our chances of getting Charles Gorman to be able to still be allowed to go to this party.
I mean, he should be allowed to go to this party after everything you guys are doing for him. If his parents don't understand how good of a community we are after all this, I mean, if it wasn't for the show, would he have ever really, put 2 and 2 together to know that he was getting scammed? So you guys are doing a great job with that.
Well, they met Nick and
like the
Edison
timing of it's
already.
perfect, right? Like he called in on the show where like the red flags could go up and we could help. Otherwise, it would be a much worse situation. So I don't know if I could take him now. It's going to cost me a couple $100. Like if we walk on the streets of New York, he's going to be giving out 20s to every single person who asks. Like I'm gonna.
But it's good that it happened to him now. It's good that it happened to him now while he's still, what is he, like 30 years old? He's still a young guy and wasn't too much money. So God bless for that. Real quick, I wanted to talk a little bit of sports with you guys. I'm trying to get everybody on this Justin Fields wave with me. You know what I was thinking about? Aaron Glenn, right? He watched Justin Fields play. It's from his rookie season. Aaron Glenn got there in 2021. Justin Fields got to Chicago in 2021. So he pretty much watched him as a rookie and watched his progression. And I looked up the stats. And against the Detroit Lions and Aaron Glenn's defense, Justin Fields on average rushed for 90 yards a game, about half a touchdown, and he threw for another 160 yards and threw for a touchdown and half a pick, right? So those aren't, world-shattering numbers, but yeah, so he threw in the 5 games he played, he threw 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So it ends up being like half a pick a game, right? He also rushed for another 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, it's not earth-shattering numbers or anything like that, but that's still for Aaron Glenn to watch him do that against his defense and to think to himself, oh, this guy would be really good if he had just the right coaching. That speaks volumes that Aaron Glenn wants him to be his quarterback. Because if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm playing with this guy twice a year, I know his flaws, I know his weaknesses, I know his strength, and I would keep him as far away from my team if I didn't think he was any good, right? As a defensive coordinator, what do you guys think about that?
100%. I think that's part of why they signed him. Glenn's talked about that when asked about it. I think they, without saying it, they want to be a dynamic rushing attack like that. Like Glenn's highlighting the 3 running backs they have. I think a tackle certainly in play at 7. Like Glenn knows as a DC how difficult Fields was to prepare for from that aspect, and he thinks there's still room for him to grow as a passer, and they could have an offense where they do take advantage of what Fields does really well, which he's as dynamic as any quarterback in the league with the ball in his hands. Lamar, Jalen Hurts, like name the guy. Like Fields is right there with the ball in his hands, that type of runner.
Yeah, and I'm not calling out. Sorry, Nick.
That's okay. You structure this offense around what he can do, not what you want him to do, right? You wouldn't build an offense with Aaron Rodgers to be mobile and anymore, right? Fields, you build for him, and you get the run game going, and you get the RPOs going, and then you get the bootlegs and the waggles and the one simple reads, right? Linebacker comes up, you drop it over. Linebacker drops, you run it. You put him in positions to succeed until he gets comfort in the system, and you start to expand upon it week after week after week. It's a new system. It's a new coaching staff. I think we all expect to see a heavy run offense, but as you get that run offense going, you're going to open up the pass. And I think that he can really do well, especially if you take Warren and now you got Brees, who could be your Gibbs. You got Allen, who could be your Montgomery. You take Warren, who could be a Laporta, and you got Garrett, who can be your St. Brown. Now you get a speedster. You're kind of building that attack that Detroit had. And who knows? Like, we've seen it happen. We've watched guys leave us and all of a sudden become a very good quarterback in the league, right? We watched Sam get an MVP vote this year. Now, find out what he can do. And the most important part of being a coach is not knowing your guy's strengths. It's knowing their weaknesses. Know what he can do. Coach that up. And Aaron Glenn is very confident in that they can coach up everybody on this roster. Even referencing a 2-time All-Pro in Sauce, saying that we got to coach him up to get him to the next level, right? They're going to coach everyone up. And I'm here for it, man. This is the most important sport when it comes to coaching. It makes the biggest difference, right? You put in a guy to hit, he hits home run, he strikes out. It's not on you, right? You set the lineup. But with this, the scheme, the design, the structure, the coaching, the teaching, it's so important. And I'm looking forward to this and looking forward to the evolution of this offense.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell Jake, man. So you're taking the words right out of my mouth. But with that being said,
all back then, if you agree. I take it all back, Jake. Strike all of that. Delete that.
No, but with all that being said, and speaking of coaching, I mean, we'll see what they think about their offensive line coach with what they do at that with that number 7 pick. I mean, if they believe in their offensive line coach, you don't have to take a right tackle at number 7. You can take somebody at, in the second round and build them up. And on top of that, our O-line coach used to be a tight ends coach. So you never know. I can see him wanting Tyler Warren to be, because the tight ends and the offensive line, they work hand in hand together. So I can see that offensive line coach being like, hey, get us Tyler Warren. That's another aspect of it too. So hopefully we get Tyler Warren, because I think it's just going to make us a much more dynamic, team on offense. We'll have that extra weapon that we need, who can run block, who can pass block, who can catch the football. So I'm I'm on board for whatever this regime wants to do. I believe in them. I'm going to support them until there's no reason to support them anymore. We got to give them some leeway. So I hope Jake gets on board and becomes a Justin Fields truther with me.
When he plays great, JJ, when he plays great, I will be right there with you. I'm not putting him in the Ring of Honor like you are already.
Just wanted to address Jets Johnny. I have no response for that song. You tried your best. It was, I guess, entertaining for you. But yeah, I'm not gonna be giving you a diss back because it was kind of beneath me. It was terrible. I was listening to it, right, and I was hoping that it was gonna like be clever. He would have talked about like my bad internet, or I don't know. There's so much stuff that you can get me with, and he was like, "You play FIFA." It was like, come on, Jets Johnny. Like, it wasn't very creative.
It was great. You stop it.
No, and Gator is a grown man. He can fight his own battles. Jets Johnny, you don't have to get involved in something that has nothing to do with you. No one's fighting battles for me, so don't start trying to fight battles for Gator. He's a grown man. It was a terrible song. I think my song undoubtedly is 10 times better than his song. It's more catchy. It's funny.
AJ,
the beat is better.
You did? I can't believe that. Doesn't seem like you.
Yeah, I'm going to support what I did. You know what's funny? People make fun of me for loving myself. Okay. If I don't love me, who will? Because it ain't going to be you guys. So, hey, I'm my number one fan, and I always will be my number one fan. Jets Johnny, nice try. This is the only response you're going to get from me.
Wow.
Peace.
Unreal.
You never know what you're going to get with the JJ call. That's so interesting. I would have been curious to see if he didn't take that hiatus, how he would have played out during this tournament. And you could see now he's already making a full commitment. Even after getting eliminated and teasing retirement, he's like, F this, I'm going for a 1 seed next year. He is fully committed already to not disappearing.
I think
he wants a trophy.
100%. I was going to say this because you're on the committee. I think we have to rethink maybe how we seed people next year based on this tournament, because
I've already thought of an idea, Jake. We set up divisions. You know how like in college basketball, you win your conference, you get an automatic bid. We set up like conferences. Boomtown's like, God damn, more work. Shut up, Nick.
It's amazing, man. We got one seed left. It's Lane. And I would say right now, I wouldn't pick Lane to be the favorite to win this whole thing. I think Loski is right there. I think Bonesy's right there. I think Ricky's got to be in consideration. Gary. I mean, I would say if you're an OG viewer of this show and you come across as a true diehard fan of the Jets, you have as good a chance as anyone.
Yeah. And I think Loski's just steamrolling, right? If you add up after 3 rounds, the total percentage of his votes, he's blowing everyone away. Like most of them are close, like in the 50s to 40s. And then you're looking at Loski, he's UNLV, right? In the early 90s, he's blowing people out like 120 to 50.
Yeah, well, why is the Bobby emoji still on my screen? There we go. I went to pull up the bracket. I was like, wait a
second. That's just his hair popped up so high. It went into the next photo.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, I mean, look where we are now, man. I mean, we've got an X through 3 of the 4 characters on the region here. I mean, crazy. But King will face Big Fella. That's a great battle there. But I think Loski has to be considered a big favorite there based on his performance in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing matchup. You know, I think if anyone can give Loski the matchup that we've been looking for and a tight race, it's that matchup right there. You know, Big Fella against Loski are 2 loved longtime callers and supporters of the show. So I think you'll see competition in that one. I don't think you'll see a blowout.
Unreal. Nick, I got to get to these last couple calls here and then wrap because I have a call at 1. So I appreciate you hopping on. And thank you again for everything you did with Charles Gorman, man.
Yeah. And real quick, thank you to everyone. A couple people sent money. Thank you. I will. I should have enough time. I'll call Charles now, see if he's home. I'll go take that money out and get it to him. So thank you, everyone who did send and who will send.
Eric just sent me a Zelle, so I'm going to send you, Nick, what he sent me. So you'll get that.
Cool. All right, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the time.
Nick Shine, go subscribe to his channel. Ricky super chat from before. Or is that Bob who did Rex Ryan lose more weight? Incredible. Let me rapid fire through some calls here, ladies and gentlemen. Australian Jet fan, go ahead.
Okay, so basically yesterday was quite an eventful show. I wanted to clear some things up. So, originally, I only came after JJ because he was calling me a yapper. And look, I agree, I like to talk a lot. But had it been anyone else, I wouldn't have batted an eye. But the fact that it was from the biggest yapper in ASMANIAC history is what got me on here talking. Now, he came at me and he said he was calling me out just because I didn't want to put up with this crap, saying that I don't know how to have fun. But where's the fun in taking the chat like a chump? You know, I'm here to let people know my opinion. I'm here to talk. I'm not gonna take shit because, you know, where's the entertainment value in that? And also, people in the comments, I saw people in the comments dissing Australia, calling Australia soft. Like, I'm patriotic about my country, just like you guys are patriotic about yours. I'm not going to let that slide. I've heard so many Americans complain about the animals in Australia. They're scared to come here. And if you've ever seen football in Australia or rugby, we don't use pads. So don't come here calling us soft. Cheers.
Hell yeah. I love it. Fired up. AJF, Australian Jet fan. By the way, Neil, I wasn't overlooking you. I just forgot. You're not being overlooked. You and Peter Castro have a great chance in this tournament. I was just thinking off the top of my head who's left. I mean, we will get Weed and Castro today, and you and David T is a great one on the first show tomorrow morning. Neil's mad at me. Thanks, Jake. Neil, I have you in my final four. I didn't overlook you. I think Neil might be my only no, I think I have Lane in my Lane and Neil are my only two final four selections alive. I had Mikey winning the whole thing, and he's done. So, Neil, I believe in you, man. I picked you to go to the final four. All right? How dare you think I don't believe in you? I just know you're in for a battle against David T or Castro if you do get to play them. All that. Adam is next, and then we got some OGs to wrap this one up. But don't worry, Beast. I see you there. I haven't forgotten about you. Hello, Adam.
Hey, Jake. Yeah, don't do divisions. I like the variety. I like the diversity of different types of callers battling it out in the tournament. Don't break it down into divisions.
What I was thinking though is, like, based on how the one seeds have fared here, I think we got to put more of an emphasis in just how long they've been around the show. When we do it next year, because, like, you know, we've seen top seeds go down if they haven't been an OG Jet fan, you know.
Yeah, just like don't do a nice guy division and a super opinionated person division and whatever other divisions you can think of, because we got a really open tent. So it's pretty cool. So I was thinking about what you said. It's like the Jets have had this habit of doing the opposite of what you want. So in the spirit of that, in the event, I mean, this happens in every draft, but it's happened in our draft in the last 10 years a few times where a player that you don't think is going to fall to our position falls there. So if the Jets picked Abdul Carter because he was at 7, what would be your level of rage?
Oh, I'd be rage. I'd be thrilled. That'd be awesome. He might be the best. He might be the best player in the draft, Adam.
All right, but I know you want a weapon. I was very curious.
I want a weapon, but I want to be realistic about who's going to be available to them. Like Abdul Carter would be amazing. Or defensive end is a need for the Jets right now. Jermaine's coming off an Achilles.
Yeah.
Who's the third defensive end on the Jets right now? McGregor,
I
like
thought
Zach
so,
Clemens.
too. And even Will McDonald, he had a great year, but I don't know. Is he an everyday starter? I guess we'll find out. But I like our young UDFAs from last year. But yeah, if Abdul Carter felt and like we grabbed him, I wouldn't be that upset either. It would be kind of a bummer for the offense, though. So was curious what your take was. So
no, it would be, but I'll worry about offense on round 2 and round 3 if I'm going to get Abdul Carter. I mean, come on, man. You put him. You watch his tape on one arm in the college football playoff, dominate the game. That guy to me is the safer pick than even a guy like Travis Hunter, who might be the best player, but like, is he a receiver? Is he a corner? Do you trust the Jets coaching staff to utilize him properly? I don't know.
Is he your number 1 on your draft board? If you were to make one, would he be your number 1?
Abdul Carter? Yeah, I think he's the best overall player in the draft.
Very cool. All right, cool. You know what? Honestly, let's see if we get him, because there were players that we didn't think were going to fall, and they did.
He's not falling to 7. Come on.
Look, teams reach. We were talking about this the other day. Teams reach, and you never know, right?
Yeah, but not in this draft. They're going to reach. There's not enough quarterbacks for that to happen.
I would just say, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with Shador. That's like the big wild card with Shador. People feel a certain way about Travis Hunter. So you got 2 quarterbacks and Travis Hunter. That's already three picks right there. And then, would the Patriots go Carter? Would they go guard? Would they go tackle? it's not crazy. It's not impossible. It's a non-zero probability. Let me put it that way.
Look, I hope it happens, Adam, but I'm not expecting it. Also, Alan, being Alan, doesn't like the fact that Adam gets compared to him. Hang up on this clown. I'm embarrassed that he's compared to me. I'm Alan. Look at me. Australian Jet fan super chatted. JJ's song sucked as well. That's why I had to call it out. I mean, Jet's Johnny's diss track of JJ. If you missed it, folks, go back and listen to it. I thought that was incredible. So good. Ladies and gentlemen, unleash the beast.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gobble-goo.
Good morning, cats, ladies and gentlemen. It's April 2nd. It's a beautiful, beautiful day, except around here, except it's raining. It's dark and shitty. But let me just say, King Loski, you may have won the fight. I'll say that.
Bend the knee to your king, Beast. Bend the knee.
Oh no, that's going a little too far. I'm only gonna give him his. I'm gonna give him his due. Here's a little bit of respect and common courtesy. Now, these draft picks, they better have good draft picks, or there's gonna be some consequences here because we're still we need one more tight end, 2 wide receivers, and a little bit of extra meat in the defense department in case we lose a guy. There's your case right there. A case, a point of logic. Oh, and to all our Val Kilmer fans, he's passed away. That's why I wanted to do a 10-bell salute to a great man like Val Kilmer. Now, let's have a moment in silence for the great Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, you will be missed. You were a great man in the movie Willow. You were a great man in the movie Tombstone. And also, I'm not a big Batman fan, but I'll give you your respect. You were a great man, but you will be missed. Now you're up there with Bob Uecker and many others. Good luck. We will remember you. Just be at peace.
Gator moves quick, man. Bobby Gotti dance already updated. Unreal. Oh, my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. An OG on the line, several OGs here, and then we will wrap the show. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Yeah, that on my tablet.
Oh, my goodness. Look at you. Hi, Lola.
Hello.
How are you, Lola?
Well, say hi to Jake.
How you feeling? I heard you were sick the other day.
Don't be shy. Oh man, Jake. You know, I gotta say the one my favorite part of Jets Johnny's song was, of course, when he goes, I just want to shout out all my guys. I love you, Mr. Bonesy. That was actually really funny because JJ, like, you know, he went hard on his rap and then he was shouting out everybody. So I thought that was funny. But JJ was right. I feel like Jets Johnny probably could have went in on him. He almost went a little easy on him, you know, but it was still hilarious.
It was great. I loved it.
And I just wanted to say to Charles, man, I love you, Charles. You know, everybody everybody fights those demons. You know, I've got a buddy who thank God it was only $700 because when you're in your head and you're looking for love, man, games are played, man. It's a tough thing. And shout out to Nick and Purple Belt Mike and everybody who helped him out. And thank God we were literally, he was on. And thank God he's got us, because he wasn't even he was worried about getting her the money. You know, he wasn't even worried about realizing what was going on. So what a avoided mess. Thank God it was only $700 because it could have been a lot worse. So
Yeah. Well, this person had all his information, like Social Security and banking info. So, like, thank God it happened on the show. So then, like, Purple Belt Mike and Nick could get a hold of Charles' dad and Charles and get all that situated.
Oh, it's terrible, man. And just think that there's people out there that actually have it in them to do that. Like, God, the world we live in, man. Sometimes it's ugly, man. It really is. But over to my Jets take. You know, I really feel like Aaron Glenn is the head of the ship. I haven't felt like that in a while. That he's making every decision. Like, he's the captain. I'm the captain now. That's the feeling he's giving me. And in the draft, I better see. I hope and pray that we're flexible to just playing the board. You know, in the years past, couple years past, we've done a pretty good job at playing the board. Whether it's trading down one slot like last year with Olu just to get a free pick from Minnesota, or making that trade down with Detroit to get that extra third that turned into Devontae, which didn't work out. But I just hope that we're open to, like, and when the deal is hot and your player's there, you'll trade back into the first round to get them, or you'll trade up in the second round like we did for Brees. So I do hope that they're flexible with, just if their guy's not there at 7, be open to trading back, or just doing, being open to things. I hope they don't go in closed-minded,
Yep, 100%. They got to play the board properly. There's good players at positions of need in this draft, so they've set it up where they're banking on hitting on that, because you can't explain their free agent process unless it's geared towards, hey, we need receivers. Great. We could find good number 2 receivers in this draft. Hey, we need tight ends. Loaded tight end class, best in years. Oh, we need defensive tackles. Great. We could find someone there that could do that too. Oh, we probably need a right tackle. Well, pick 7 might be, the best overall offensive lineman you could argue in this class, and Membu, who's perfect for what we need. So, like that's kind of how they've set it up.
It's very, very deep class, especially at D tackle. I hope Graham is gone so that we don't get tempted unless it's a trade back, because I'd love to get one of the later D tackles and use a high pick on an impact player. And I also, with receiver, you gotta just think that Lazard is gone. They're waiting for Rodgers to sign, and I have a feeling he'll either be a post-June cut and then go play with Rodgers, or maybe we could squeeze a late round pick at the Steelers for. You saw that Rodgers was throwing with DK, so if that leaves you any inkling to where Rodgers is going, so I just hope that. I feel like Corley is going to be somebody who we don't think is going to make an impact, and I think they might look at Corley as maybe as a electric player. You do reverses with, you get the ball in his hands like he was supposed to be. But my one knock on my boy Rodgers is, if you're not a receiver that fits his type of scheme, that he can't even get you the ball. Like Mike Williams, for instance. Like, not that Mike Williams did anything with the Steelers, but Mike Williams is a high contest catch wide receiver, and we still couldn't get him the ball because he's just not one of Rodgers type of guys. So maybe they're bigger on Corley than we believe, because we haven't, Josh Reynolds isn't the savior, and without Garrett, with just Garrett, we got to expect that they have a plan up their sleeve. So, but Jake, those are my takes.
I love it.
Love you, buddy.
We love you, Lola.
Lola. Say bye to Jake. Give a Jets chant. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was half-ass.
She's
All
still
right,
so
guys.
shy. Eventually, she won't be.
Right? How are you shy? You're talking to these people all the time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 seed, Mr. Bonesy.
The only thing better than all these shoes is sexy Rexy, cause he also loves feet. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody, and man, these jets are depressing.
That region is right there for Mr. Bonesy to take. You got Lane Train, Clifton, Bonesy, and V-Man. Sweet 16, Lane versus Clifton. And the winner of that would play either V-Man or Bonesy. And V-Man hasn't been calling in as much. He's got the overnight shift. He's been busy with work. So I think Bonesy can knock out V-Man there. I think that's a tight one. We saw V-Man dominate. Didn't even need to call in for his matchup yesterday against Doug. But Bonesy versus V-Man's an interesting one. That's a great one. All right, hit the like button if you haven't. Last chance to get in the raffle. Kyle Clifton, boom, in for one, gifting one channel membership.
I think the second one. Excuse me.
Shout out to Gorman, getting the help he needs from the people in this community. Kenneth N. receiving the channel membership there from the Kyle Clifton. All right, we got to make these last 2 calls quick here. Ladies and gentlemen, Indy Jets is on the line. What's up, Indy?
Hey, Jake. Hey, thanks for the helmet. It's great. It comes with the authenticity and all that, but it came with 2 things you didn't know about. And we know about Antonio Cromartie and his personal life. I didn't realize this thing came with 2 paternity tests I got to go take now. Thanks. If I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't have signed up for this Cromartie thing, because now I got to go to the hospital and take a paternity test. But no, anyway, thanks. I appreciate it. It looks great. And let Bobby know, I love Bobby. I think he looks great. He's really getting. I mean, that is. I think Bonesy had the best comment though, that he said he looked a lot like Bonesy's lesbian neighbor. So but I think Bobby looks great. I'm glad to see all the positives in him. I can't stand it when Bobby gets that angry troll coming out at him. When he, how Bobby gets. When Bobby's his normal self, he's wonderful, just like Mikey. They're great people. I want to shout out to the Jets community though, because this is what went down with Charles yesterday. This isn't the first time that I've witnessed something like this within our Jets community. And being from Indiana, I've seen, I was in the Chicago Bears area. I was in the Indianapolis Colts. Those fans are not like New York Jets fans. I'm just going to tell you. You don't have this kind of community. I mean, we have, Jake, you've got fans from all over the world. And we're all trying to help. We rib each other and we do all that. But when somebody's in need, and the big fella can attest to this. Everybody. Nick Shine is another one. I've not been a part of a community, especially in a sports community like this. I've not seen it. That our New York Jets fans are a part of. I mean, this just, I have seen this numerous times where a Jets fan, people we've never met before, we're willing to help out, and just go, bend over backwards and so I just want to say thanks, Jake, for being part of this community and helping us and keeping us all together through this wild off season. That this Asmaniac March Madness thing was. I hope Las Vegas picks this up next year. You're going to go from 40,000 viewers to 400,000, and I hope that's the case. But I just want to say for everybody, Purple Belt Mike and everybody, I appreciate you guys, and being the family that we all thought we were.
Well said, Indy. Great call. Maybe your best call ever. I look forward to hanging out with you in person at the draft party.
Yep, I will see. I'm getting the table. I'll get the table as soon as we get off here. Now that I know, I got confirmation that JJ's coming. I knew that the big fella's coming, but I hadn't actually got confirmation that JJ was going to come. So, we just got, if somebody needs an extra seat that, maybe, can't get in, we'll save that extra seat open, whatever we need to do, Jake.
Love it, Indy. Let me know if you have any questions with that, all right? But it should be
Yeah,
pretty
no
easy on
problem.
mine. You got it. The great Indy Jets, everybody. Glad his Cromartie helmet showed up. The paternity test, all that. Unreal. All right. Shout out to Dre Day. Get the membership here before we wrap. I appreciate you, Dre Day, for that one. Boom.
Some of your mama's chicken soup.
I'm playing all the Loski hits because, folks, let's make it official. We thought, maybe some of us, I know I did, that this would be a battle, real close. But it's a testament to this guy's greatness that it was never in doubt. Congratulations to the great King Loski on advancing to the Elite Eight in ASMANIAC Madness. Loski ends Dave Briga's incredible Cinderella-like run in our tournament. Loski 68, Briga 31. Officially 634 votes were cast. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to our king who has called in and joins us right now on the Gusbuster Hotline. Hello, King Loski.
I can't thank the Asmaniacs enough for the victory over the legend, the GOAT. The honor was all mine, Mr. Dave Briga. I can't thank the Asmaniacs enough, baby. Let me just say this, man. I when I call in, baby, I keep it strictly Jets or strictly Asmaniac Madness. But I gotta say this, man. Y'all know I troll Charles Gorman a lot, but I just want to say this to the Gorman, man. If you can't touch the hand, don't fin the bands. You heard? At the end of the day, Charles, and depending on where you're at, before you kiss the hand, make sure you look at a baby picture. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Charles, you just got to be more careful, my brother. We care about you. This community gives a damn about you, son. Okay? I still want your mama sooner, and I still want your mama's chicken soup. I don't give a damn how much money you lost, son. You got enough to get the ingredients to get your mom in that kitchen and give me some of that damn chicken soup. You hear me? I need it, Charles Gorman. But I just want to say, man, this community gives a damn about you, man. Keep your head up, son. And it's going to be brighter days for you, Charles. We all looking out for you. And again, I can't thank the Asmaniacs enough. I know Jay got a baby, so you know how I ended.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? ASMANIAC Madness. You get to pick the ones that make the show walk.
The King Loski. Hey, reminder, join the Patreon like Manny Palucci did during the show. Manny, I see you, and I thank you very much for your support. All right, that's the show. We will be back in the 4 p.m. hour, so that will be a wild one because Sweet 16 action continues. We head to the Hood region, baby. Castro in action against Weed the People. Weed already slayed 1-1 seed. Can he take down an OG? And Peter Castro, or will Castro ride his bike to glory? We'll find out. Folks, you guys are the best. And in honor of Jets Johnny's incredible diss track against JJ, I'm ending the show playing it again. If you got kids around, there are curses in here. So stand by, and we'll talk to you in a few hours. Go Jets, everybody. And thanks again to everyone for your incredible support of this show. Hello, JJ. How's everyone doing today?
JJ, you must be out your motherfucking mind, boy. This rapping on the mic shit is mine, You know this is my time, boy. So step back and let me rhyme, boy. Yeah, your flow's a broken record, stuck on repeat. I'm fresh like a newbie, you're cold like old me. You kinda gate up, but the joke's on you. I could beat you in FIFA and steal your girl too. Your rhymes are outdated like a dial-up on the net. I'm spitting so sick, every line's a hard reset. Chef Kev in this kitchen, burnt toast on the side, serving up raw fire while you down for this right. Even when I go, cringe, I'm better than you. You're corny and the punchlines on you. So I just wanted to take this time to shout out all my guys, and I just wanted to say, oh my god, Bouncy, I love you, girl, yes, queen. Shut the fuck up, JJ. Shut the fuck up, JJ. We don't wanna hear what the fuck you gotta say. Just shut the fuck up, JJ. Say shut the fuck up, JJ. Shut the fuck up, JJ. We don't wanna hear what the fuck you gotta say. Just shut the fuck up, JJ. You know I love you, man.